Okay. So, of course the chat's not working. That's the one thing. Or maybe it is working, you just can't see anything. Test. Make sure that gets sent. Bip bop. It looks like it should be working. Of course it's not working when it works when I did all the testing and then I go to actually start streaming, and of course it just doesn't work. But I'll fix it, hold on. There's nobody here anyway. Obviously I haven't shared the links to anybody, so this is all, you know. There we go. The chat should be working here too. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Oh, you know what? I bet ya I know what's going on here. Let's go pop out the chat. And it's definitely that. So you can go here, go to properties, and fix it. No? Of course not. Why does it work? I hate, I don't know. I hate things. Did I keep the, well, here. So the funny thing is, I did keep the style. Okay, cool. So I could just try this. Add a browser source. Call it chat2. Width 400, height 1080, and then the source is the popped out, nope, no, hang on, custom CSS, source is popped out chat, which should be this, and then I should be able to put that in there and hit OK. Oh, and now it works. Okay. Yeah, alright, whatever. Gonna adjust it so it doesn't have that little shit down there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, yeah. Beep bop. Alright, so if I take this link, this should be the link to... Oh, I don't want studio. I want just the link. Yeah, this is the link. So, anyway, so I'm going to keep this up. So I will say, so obviously there's nobody here, but just because this is being recorded and is live for later, I do have a second monitor set up so that OBS, I can at least control all of OBS without having it be on my screen. But the monitor is to my far right, which, you know what, I guess I could put the chat. I could just put the chat over here, the pop-out chat window. I can turn to my right and see it. That's not too bad. Okay, well now, the question is, how do we get people in, I suppose? Post the link, probably. Doing a test run of Behind the Bricks stream. If anyone wants to join, super casual, just hanging out and doing Blocklandy stuff. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and it even has the... That's cool. Okay. So that's posted. Chat's there. Yeah, so I guess we're live. So I can switch back to me full. Oh, hang on. I forgot the chat's not there, yeah. So we're going to delete that. We're going to duplicate that. Put the chat there. There we go. So now the chat just says test. But hey. Alright, so. Hello. So this is just me now recording. I don't think there's anybody in the stream. And honestly, if nobody shows up today, that's whatever, you know. But I'm doing this kind of as a just a test, like a test it, just to see what it looks like. Probably only going to stream for a couple of hours, maybe 2 or 3. I would have started this earlier, but it took me a long time to get anything functional because I was having weird issues with my drivers and stuff like that. And I don't know, I got it to work. So this is mostly a test, just to see. Yeah, just to see what we're doing. So if, you know, and so this is, I mean, I didn't, like, announce this one, because, like, it wasn't a big deal. As people start to trickle in, you know, cool, maybe we'll get more going. Sorry that my head is, like, to the right. I'm going to pull the chat over here, and I'm going to put me here. And now, I think, with the chat open on the second window, and me positioned where I am, I can now do this. And that should line up. Yeah, okay. So, what am I doing today? So so again, as people just trickle in, obviously if you're watching this on a replay, right now there's nobody in the stream, but it's just you and me and the past. So, you're not watching it live, but you're watching me do stuff. So what do I want to do today? So, I wanted to work on something. So let me pull up the thingies I was working on here. I'm going to keep that open for a second. So, real quick, I'm going to go to my Google Drive. And, not this Google Drive, but one of my other Google Drives. And I want to pull something up. So this is kind of a... oh, no. You know what? No, I don't want to do that today. You know what I do want to do today? Changed my mind. We'll talk about this later. This is the completely made-up history of Blockland. It was something I want to mention. But actually, I saw Isar, and that reminded me. I want to do Isar today. So real quick, then, let me pull up Blockland. And when I do that, actually, let's do I'm going to duplicate that scene, call that main BL. And, we're going to get rid of the screen in that, and we're going to add just a game capture, window capture, call it Blockland, hit OK, select a window to capture blockland.exe, OK. Make sure that fits. And then drag it down so it's behind all the rest. Myself included. There we go. That should be good. Yo, hello, welcome. Okay, cool. Someone's here. So anyway, so you didn't miss much. I think that fills up the full screen. So now I've got me, I've got my monitor, and then I've got just Blockland. So this is when I pull up Blockland, or any other game for that matter. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do, so actually what I wanted to do today, was, so the thing I brought up was the Isar script, and, I want to do something different today than what we did with the Block Wars stream, and that is actually play some Blockland. Granted, I'm going to be playing in single player, but, I have an idea. How does the chat look, too? It doesn't look too bad. I don't quite like... Yeah, there we go. I like that better. So I'm going to actually do that on all of them. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, pull back Blockland. Oh, but actually, so let me pull. Oop, how's it? Yeah, chat. I don't like that it. Why does it reload every time? Whatever. It is what it is. But anyway, so what I would like to show you, speaking of, and I need to pull up a direct message in order to do this, and so it's like I always hate having my screen share. Oh, you know what? I don't have to. I can do this. There we go. Pull up my direct messages. I need to pull something up real quick, and that is this. Open media link. Here we go. There's that. And then so what did I say the dimensions were? Oh, okay. 192 studs, 362 studs tall. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up to I promise this is going to get interesting as we go. What? Google Docs crashed. Never seen Google Docs crashed. Oh, and obviously, for those of you watching this later, who have watched the original stream, this is not a personal update. I got a haircut. So my hair's no longer fucking however many feet long it was, or inches long, or whatever. It is now short, and I'm happy with it. Okay, so anyway, let me pull away. Now I can put down the private message, and I can pull up my main window. Okay, so here's what I am working on today. So the thing I'd like to work on actually is the Isar Tower. So I got into working on the Isar script a little bit more, and I started writing episode 2, which you can see I have the titles here. These are based on IcyGamma's original titles. I think the original 3 episodes were called The Conductor, Hornet's Nest, and Paradio. It's a Latin word and I can't say it. So I have named mine the Maestro, Paradigm Shift, and Esperactum, which is also Latin. Basically, the Latin word means like last act or the end or whatever. So he was just being clever by making it Latin. So I made mine literally the last act in Latin. So that's Esperactum. Esperactum, I guess, is the... Anyway, so let me pull this up. So the Isar Tower that I've been working on, the remake of it, was a one-to-one recreation of what Icy had originally done. I realized that I felt like that was a little small, and so I went in and I found some conversion rates for people who make one-to-one scale models of like buildings in actual Lego. And so I found that the scale rate is, for a meter, is about 3 studs, which works pretty well in Lego and Blockland. They're about the same scale. A minifigure in Lego and a minifigure in Blockland are relatively the same, so I'm using this scale as a rule of thumb. And it's just a rule of thumb. It's not an exact 1-to-1, but it's close. But anyway, so for every 3 studs, that's 1 meter, and for every 2.5 bricks, that is 1 meter tall. Because obviously, you know, bricks are, if you don't realize, bricks are 1.2, so they're 1.2, so they're a little bit taller than a full cube like they would be in like a game like Minecraft or whatever, or a voxel game or whatever. So what I've done here, this is something I just made in Blender. You can kind of see what it is. It's those are 3 64 by 64 base plates, and it's what did I say the measurements were? So 192 studs and 360 bricks tall. And I'm basing this on, that's about half of the size if I were to make a 1-to-1 scale model of the Empire State Building, because I went and I actually measured the Empire State Building in Google Earth, and I looked up all of its like its height as well, just to like make sure I got it, because I wanted to make something closer to a real building, because I realized, and now we can go back into Blockland here. Whoop. I realized, we'll load up the Isar Tower again. Oh, you can see I was messing around with some old spaceships. That's for later too, but we can talk about that in another stream. But let's see here. Let's go to Isar. Where are you? I have them saved, but I'm gonna go by... There we go. So the original Isar Tower. So this is based on what Icy actually built back in the day. And the original Isar, it's an impressive build for what it was. I mean, you know, I mean, say what you will about Icy's like building skills. I'm not gonna comment on them because mine certainly weren't the best either back in the day. But anyway, I think it's a pretty decent build for what it is. But something I've noticed, the more and more I think about how I want to do an Isar remake, if I actually do that video, Roblox. Hang on, I'm trying to get the chat pulled up. This is Roblox. It looks like Roblox. It could be Roblox, you know? You never know. I should, honest to God, I've thought about it. I should just play Roblox for fun one time. Just because I have never truly played. The closest I have gotten to playing Roblox in actual real life is because I work at a local library. When I sit at the desk downstairs, which is our information desk, which is right where all of the children's books are, the closest I have gotten to playing Roblox is helping a child set up a Roblox account so that they could play Roblox on a library computer and play Roblox with their friends also at the library on the library computers. So that's the closest I've actually gotten to playing real life Roblox. I have been a Blocklander since fucking day one, and here we are. It lacks the stairs and the fire exits. Exactly. It's not up to code, right? But anyway, but I also, besides it not being up to code, it's so incredibly small. And thinking about it as a filming location versus, because I know Icy was making it as a build. You know, he wanted it to be a little role-playing and like a headquarters to his like clans and all that different stuff. Making it this small as a build, okay, yeah, makes sense. These were how the apartments were going to be set up. Again, basing this all on screenshots. I don't have access to the original, so this is as close as I could get. But, you know, he was like, I mean, these are like, what, 32 by 32, I guess? Like, you know, so it's kind of small. And I really don't like how small it is, because then I got to thinking about the scenes I have written for, like, this. Like, for the Black Pearl, the restaurant. And it's like, this is where all of the party, I guess, was supposed to be going on, because it takes place during New Year's Eve, because he actually did host a New Year's Eve server in Isar Tower, hence when the event happened that he fictionalized to make his machinima. Oh, wow, I hadn't realized I wasn't even finished with some of these windows. But anyway, so this is where the party is supposed to take place, and there's supposed to be so many guests, and I realized this is so tiny. This is no good. This is going to be no good to shoot in. So I'm going to make today... I might leave... You know what? I'm going to leave this Isar open so that I can see it and use it as a reference so I don't have to keep pulling up images. I am going to make today something I am going to call Isar 2, which is a modified recreation of this, because I got really close. I mean, that is really good, obviously, for what it is. But I'm going to make something that is much, much larger and more to the... It's pretty bad if the server disabled the jet boots, which would make it harder to go up. Exactly, yeah. So and that's another thing, too. I'd like to add staircases, because actually you can kind of see down here, I was working on some kind of elevator system. I think... it closes automatically. That's funny. I think I was going to make it a teleport event. Yeah, I think I wanted just there to be a button, and you would just click, like... floor and then you'd just be like, if I'm on floor 1, floor 1 would be grayed out, and you'd have all the other floors, and you'd click it and it would teleport you to that correct elevator, and then you could just step out. It wasn't going to be a functional elevator because I don't have the elevator add-on installed or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I don't like how small it is. I don't like how there's no room for a staircase or even an elevator shaft of any kind. So I want to make it bigger. So, that is what today is about. So that's why I have this stuff. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. I gotta go back to... So that's why I have this stuff here as reference. So I made this in Blender just so I could see just kind of what that would look like in terms of space. And then I have the dimensions here. And then, also I have IcyGamma's... excuse me, I have IcyGamma's biography pulled up, because on page 47 is when he starts talking about Isar. Yeah, right here in chapter 15, he starts talking about Isar. I have to unlock after an ad? That's hilarious. Well, I don't need to read it today, so we're not worried about it. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm working on making it bigger. And so, pull back up Blockland. And so my size comparison, so 192 studs, which is 3 64 by 64 base plates. So let's look at what that looks like here. We're going to use this as just a, I'm going to walk a little bit away from the tower so we can have them be separate. We're going to use this as our scale reference. So let me place these down. And I would like to have them be alternating colors too, so I can see. Oops. Oh, numlock's not turned on, that's why. So make that one red, and then orange, and I'll change these colors later. Make that one red, and then make that one orange. I know I could have just painted these, but I said fuck it. Okay. So here we go. So here's our grid to start with. And also this red is awful, so maybe a blue. We'll go with the behind the bricks color scheme, which is blue and orange. Anyway, so here's our grid that I want to work in. So you can see already, if this is our size grid, right? And I'm talking building the tower within this, pretending that that is like the base plate that this can be built on. Sorry, I'm like not seeing the chat. Let me go back. Oh man, the biography. Yes, the biography. So the biography is like, so we all joke about it. I actually don't know if it was legitimately an autobiography or not. I know that the joke that we all tell is that it's like, oh yeah, it's probably an autobiography because he probably wrote it himself. But I don't know. There's a bit about it, the way I read it, I do legitimately think he got somebody else to write it for him, because a lot of it is told through what clearly appears like chat logs. Like, I think he told somebody, I'd like you to write this down, and then dictated everything he wanted in it. But I think it was him and somebody chatting, and him saying, put this, and then would go, oh, and then quote me on this, because it really does look like he's talking to someone else. I could be wrong. He might have faked all of it, and that's whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so you can see this is much, 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 much bigger. Like, way bigger. We have a lot more space to work with. So now, whoa. Sorry, you're not seeing it, but I'm seeing something. Okay, but now, what did I say was my height? So 360 bricks tall. So we're going to have to do that real quick, too. And I did use, and it's just regular 1x1 studs. So this one, let's pick a nice color. Maybe this is where we'll use red, because then it won't be so... So, okay, so 300 and... What did I say? 360. So how are we going to do this? So probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, and then we're going to do that 10 times. So... Oop. Oh! Well, thank you, Duplicator, for letting me know that I didn't actually get my count right. 36. There. Alright. And then let's get our Duplicator. We should have 36 bricks. Cool. Alright. 1. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Right. So that should be, if I did it right, that should be 360 now. Let's pull the duplicator up because it'll count for me. Perfect. 360 tall. So there you go. So here's my actual scale I'd like to be working in. So immediately you can see how much wider and longer the tower would be, and then of course how much taller it will be. I can fit so many more floors. I can fit, you know, elevators and stairwells, and I can put the restaurant at the top, the Black Pearl restaurant, and I can have it actually be, you know, something interesting and like big enough to actually hold like a party. And I can also, I was kind of thinking I could use this in the same way that Icy wanted to use it and make it like his, you know, the way he made it, he wanted it to be sort of like a headquarters. I could make it a headquarters. I could have how many floors of, you know, I could have one floor could be a gallery, one floor could be an office space or whatever, you know. I'm not, if I wanted to like role play that seriously or whatever. So, I'm gonna probably put, yeah, I am gonna put one on each corner here, just so I can, so you can't see it, but the monitor I'm using is really tiny. So I have to keep moving around the windows in order to read the chat. But imagine if this becomes also a downloadable save. Yeah, I mean, maybe. It could be. I'd like it to become something that people can use, because something about Icy, and I understand he wanted privacy for whatever he wanted. People, okay, let me put it this way. People were incredibly mean to IcyGamma. And I'm not saying whether or not he deserved it or didn't deserve it, because maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't think anyone deserves to be bullied unless they themselves are a bully. But anyway, and I mean, IcyGamma could be somewhat of a bully, so I understand why people would be upset with him from time to time. But I do think that him getting clan bases are a lost art. I agree. Actually, real quick, do I have it? Is it gonna kill me? No, okay, I don't have fall damage on. I thought I had. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I was working on a. I'm gonna save this though. Isar 2 and save, just so. Yeah, perfect screenshot, just the ground. But real quick, I'm gonna see if I have it, because I wanted to see. I think I named it Swahili Studios, so it might be in the S's here. Yes, I was gonna do very akin the BLC tower. You know what? Yeah, maybe we'll call it the BLC. It's called Isar 2, but we'll call it the BLC tower. But speaking of BLC, I was doing a little a nod to Darkstar here, and I was actually trying to build a functional film studio set, which would be, I wanted to have actual like sound stages and stuff, so you can see it was going to be over in here. I never got super far with it, but this was kind of like the courtyard that I had going on here. So, what was this? Was I looking? I think I wanted this to have functionality. I was gonna event this to open, or I think either I was gonna event this to open, or I was actually gonna go in and make it a custom like thing that would animate. But anyway, so you get the idea. I was working on something like that, like a film clan space or studio like that. So. But let's clear that again. So let's work on Isar, though, because that's what we're here to do. So Isar 2, load. And then I think when I'm done building Isar 2, I will probably demolish with the wand, get rid of the first tower, because, yeah. So this is the space I want to work in. So now we got our scale, so we can start planning floors here. So I was thinking... so how much space do we have around the base here? Not a whole lot. So you kind of are, and that's another thing. This is kind of a precarious, like if we're supposed to believe that this all is like mounted somewhere in an ocean, just out in the middle of the ocean, this is kind of a precarious like landing. You could really easily fall in and drown. So we're gonna start making a studio. Yeah, you should. I think it would be fun. I still really want to make a giant, like a default city, that has like a bunch of different like buildings and things, like how you were showing your warehouse earlier in the BLC Discord. Like I would love to have a default place that has a bunch of different buildings that we could use as film sets that also would act as like a little city where all of these things could live. But that's for later down the road. But yeah, so today I want to build Isar. I keep saying it. But yeah, so that's really small. So I was thinking maybe like, pull up a base plate here. Even maybe 16. I was going to say 8 at first, but 16 by 16. Because if I put this here, and then... Yeah, like a Blockland version for Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. So, build an idea like a studio. Yeah. But so I was thinking if I put this like here, down there, and then build it out so that I think 16 by 16 is more than enough to be our like plate. And this is obviously pretty thick. So he's got it. So the way he did it, he raised it up like that. So I'm obviously working on 64 by 64. So I'm gonna have to do well, how do I want to do that? Yeah, I can do it like that. So actually, yeah, put that back, just for a second, because I'm going to use it as my basis. So I'm going to pull off, let's see. Yeah, we really should when I get more into this, and if I start streaming like more legitimately, I would like to start playing multiplayer again. Because I honest to God have not played multiplayer Blockland, other than like the occasional I'll get on for like, you know, New Year's or Christmas or whatever, and I'll just join in the server, see what things look like, see what everybody's been building, and then move on and kind of like, you know, not really do anything while I'm there. So, okay, so, but anyway, so I'm going to keep going here. So, let's see. So, we, obviously, the original Isar is like this, like, creamy tan color here, which is not this one. What one is it? Is it this? Nope. Is it this? Yeah. No, still not that. This? There, it's Truno. I'm using Truno's color set. I love Truno's color set because I think it is probably the best color set. I've used it probably, well, I don't know how many years now. How many decades now? Probably 2 decades I've used Truno. Whenever he came out with it. Do it with a voice chat, and yes, yeah, I think that would be fun. So I'm going to keep with this cream color, because I guess that is, I mean, that is what the original Isar Tower was made out of, so we're going to stick with it. If I decide to change the colors a little bit later on, I will. But about how tall does he have it? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4x4 is tall. So if I did the same here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's starting to get real tall. So let's 5 is probably good. Because I'm also thinking, like, so I did this as a scale reference, too, but obviously I'm going to have my difference of scales here, so maybe, yeah, this is tall enough, because I don't want it to be too different. Okay, I'm going to have to do my math here, so it should be 2 over. Yep, there we go. Over. I just can't imagine building without the duplicator. And I know I'm probably spoiled in that regard, because it's like I did used to play the game where the duplicator didn't exist, and, you know, I did a lot of builds back in the day without it, but the fact that we have it now... Oh, I changed the shaders. I meant to keep them... I like them at hat as high, but... Alright. Oop. So let's see what this looks like here. Because obviously these aren't going to line up perfectly. And I'm also saying that, like, I didn't want the whole building to be the 64x64. I wanted it to be, or the 3 64x64s. I wanted that to essentially be the footprint of the building, so that I knew that I would have... Yeah, exactly. It's so, I can't imagine doing anything without it, but... Alright, what are we at here? So it looks like, so that's obviously probably 32 by 32s, right? Would I have done my math correctly in assumptioning? That's a word. In assuming. Right? Yes. Okay, perfect. So, let's see, how do I want to do that? Probably just the old, until I have better struts, probably the old, this is my favorite method of applying bricks that would otherwise have to float, is to just put a little strut right there. The duplicator is like mouse aiming. You really can't... Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. I have gone back and played, like... So, like, my very first first-person shooter was Wolfenstein 3D. Or in so much so that my uncle showed it to me on his computer. So I have played games in a way where mouse look didn't exist yet. But I didn't really grow up with it, because I didn't really, like... I wasn't super into first-person shooters. But, that being said, going back to, like, Doom... and trying to play it the way it was originally programmed to play without mouse look, that's, like, crazy to me. Like, and the fact that some people, like, that was just how you played the game, and the fact that people could deathmatch back in the day like, that's, like, how I taught myself to draw with the mouse before I had a tablet, because I didn't have a tablet yet, so I was like, alright, if I draw with the mouse, that'll work, you know? It's like, yeah, it's like the people who taught themselves how to do that, like, and could do it without any problems. That's like an amazing skill to have. So, you know, good on them for having it. They're stronger than the rest of us. They have what's the word I'm looking for? They're definitely, they learned things that we all didn't. They know things. They know stuff that I don't. And it's because they taught themselves how to aim with a keyboard. And it's like, sir, you are my hero. All right, I'm gonna do that real quick just so I can see where the edges are. Oops, why are you overlapping? Oh, right, because I put a duh. All right, that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna get rid of these eventually anyway when I start building the walls, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. But also, you know what, too? There's even a gamepad control where you played on Doom. Yeah, playing Doom on the Super Nintendo. If you learned how to play Doom on the Super Nintendo, you're stronger than the rest of us. Is another thing. But another thing, like, believe it or not, when I was first playing Blockland way back in the day, I didn't know what Super Shift was. I didn't know what that meant when it got turned on and turned off. And, I mean, I figured out pretty quickly, but, like, I can remember some of my very earliest memories of Blockland building, not knowing what Super Shift was, and, like, doing this to make things, you know, get where they needed to go when it was like, oh, no, you can just do that. And it's like, how did I not know? How did I ignore that? But whatever. We learn as we go. All right, so I'm going to need one here, and I'm going to need, I think, another one here, right? And I think that will satisfy the base of the building. So here we go. So there we go. So now you can see how much larger my Isar 2 is going to be compared to Icy's original. Instantly you can tell, like, and obviously if we have to go above these struts as, like, you know, as our height, this isn't the maximum height. This is what I measured the Empire State Building to be about, which I think is still a little small. I think I did cut it a little bit. Because even if I look at it from up here, I mean, I'm pretty tall, I'm pretty high up, but I've played video games where they've created one-to-ones of the Empire, like Spider-Man, for example, where you're at the top of the Empire State Building and you take a jump off of it. I think it's a little higher than this, so I might have reduced my scale still a little bit. So this isn't the exact height of the Empire State Building, but... Oh, did that show up on the stream? I don't even know. Probably didn't. Yeah, it didn't. That was my face would be in the way of it anyway. I had a Discord notification that showed me you were playing Blockland, and I was just like, oh, everyone's gonna know what you're doing now. But anyway, my shaders scroll is mapped to my middle mouse button, which is probably the worst place to have it mapped because every once in a while I'll click. But anyway, let's see. So I'm gonna keep using the 8x8 cubes here, I think, because that to me, because it's like on the original, they're 4x4 struts, and then they're 4x4s to make... Oh, I don't care about that. Never mind. I don't care about that. I was like, do I really need that little line of color? I don't care. And I'm probably going to make this hollow and put bricks on top of it to make this a full thing. No one is allowed to know. It's a secret. It's like if the president, like if Trump was playing Blockland, he would Truth Social about it. He'd be like, I don't want anyone to know, but I'm currently in the block party. A bad spot is here. But this is a state secret. And then QAnon would text and be like, oh, Trump is playing Blockland. Alright. Here we go. So now... the question is, so I have all of these underneath. I can't get rid of them yet. Unless, oh, I guess I could. Here's how I could. Oh, I have to find all the edges here, but... Actually, yeah, this is where I'll hide them. I'll just put some 4x4s. And I'll keep them pink. Why not? So So there's one. Tune in, and the first thing you hear is Trump is like, you know. So here, actually, so this is while I'm just building, here's something I did want to talk about. That's actual Lego news. How does everybody feel about the Lego Batman video game that's coming out? I personally am not too excited for it because it just looks like a recreation of the Rocksteady formula of, you know, Batman Arkham games, but with a Lego skin, essentially. And I was not super duper impressed with the Skywalker Saga because I felt like that game was kind of, let's see, boring. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of replayability to it. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I hate when I do that. What is that, a 32? But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are of the new Lego Batman game. I don't have any intention of getting it. Mostly because I'll get it when it's on, like, super discount, like, later in its life. I have no interest in getting it while it's, like, brand new, because A, I'm not going to pay $70 for, again, what feels just like another, Rocksteady title, but with Lego skins, but also just, you know, it's kind of unnecessary. Yes, exactly. That's how I feel about it. It looks unnecessary. I like the concept. Let me put it this way. I like the idea of saying, okay, we're going to do a big, like, parody game of, like, all of Batman's history. Lego games have been moving towards the massive hub world with small side quests. Yeah. And so that's another thing, too. Well, let me finish the first thought. I like the concept of the Batman. What? How are those not? Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, shoot. I can do one right here, I guess. It won't be pink like the other ones, but who cares? The Lego games look like they're trying too hard, and I feel like the formula, like, is overstayed its welcome. Yes! Because obviously, the original Lego Star Wars video games were, I mean, when they introduced that formula, I think everything was really, like, it was nice and it was niche at the time. It was something that you didn't really see a whole lot of, you know? And it was like, they made something that was wholly original at the time. Something that I thought would be really cool is the idea of telling this big, like, Batman comedy story that you wouldn't be able to tell in any other, you know, medium, even video game medium, because, oh, of course, because Lego at least allows for there to be a little bit of silliness. But, like, they did that with the Lego Batman movie. You know what I mean? They've already done that concept. So it's like, I don't really get it. And yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, and what I really also personally have always hated about the Lego titles, even the original, like, Lego Star Wars on PS2, and I understand where the thought process of the aesthetic came from, but, like, I really hate how not everything is made of bricks. And I know that it's like, sure, you know, whatever, you don't have to necessarily have everything be made of bricks to be a Lego game, but, like, in the new Lego game, why isn't Gotham City made entirely of bricks? You know, like, it looks weird. Yes, exactly. Good graphics and nothing else. And I miss the non-Traveler Tales Lego games because it's like, and the customization hasn't gotten any better too. And that's kind of what I was getting at too, is that it's like, so everything not being made out of bricks, everything being like just, you know, an environment, like, and just modeled to look like normal. Not only does that give into the whole thing what I was saying, where it's like, this is just the Rocksteady thing, but with, you know, a Lego skin, but also is that it gives, like, you don't get any kind of customization. Every Lego game, it's like there's no point of it being a Lego game. If it was any other kind of game, if it was any other Batman game, I'd be like, sure, fine, it's whatever. It's the fact that it is just a Lego title with none of the customization of what makes Lego such an interesting, like, IP and product and toy. Because, like, Lego is all about doing what I'm doing right now, for example. I know this is Blockland, but this is the point. And, like, the closest they ever got was that one game, what was it, Lego Universe, Lego World, whatever it was, you know the one where you actually, it was like Minecraft, but Lego? Like, that was the closest they ever got to actually, like, doing something cool where you could legitimately build things, and of course the whole world had to be Lego, and so they made up their own, like, you know, essential voxel engine, but everything was Lego, and it looked really fucking cool, and like the land was Lego, and you could terraform with Lego, and you could build buildings on top of Lego, and it was just like, do whatever you wanted in Lego. That's the point of Lego, and there has not been... Imagine the timeline where Lego did buy Blockland. That would be scary, honestly. I kind of am glad that never happened, because who knows what they would have done with it. Because didn't Lego Universe, the MMO, come out not that long after? And considering how Lego was going in that direction with Lego games, like, who knows what they were going to come up with. Probably nothing good, to be fair. But, whatever. Oh, you know what I just realized, too? Is that I have made the, where I said, like, oh, you know, there's an edge problem. I have made it so that this is no longer an edge. I guess if I am going to build the tower inset like Icy did, I don't know. Well, I'm thinking about it. I still could give myself an 8x8 instead of, like, a 4x4. Woo! Fell off myself. But, yeah, I do miss that MMO. And it was like, that's what I mean. Like, Lego and, like, just the way that Lego... What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's already 8x8, so that's actually pretty small. So maybe, but you know, no, 8x8 I think is fine, because I don't want to completely. I'm trying to go inward on this a little bit because, oh, is that legitimate? Oh, okay. I guess I have to have some of it. Once I actually start building on this, I guess we'll go. Ah, of course. I knew I was gonna do it. I was gonna miss one, and I was gonna make it. And I was gonna fall through. Nothing Lego could have done would have been worse than Bad Spot. Alright, that's also fair. When it comes down to it, too, that's also true. Bad Spot, legitimately allowing pedophiles, like self-proclaimed pedophiles, to just sort of stay. Like that, and I know it was, again, there's no good reason to say that it wasn't just a bit. Maybe it was a bit, but like, fucking hell, man. Like, if anybody comes into a forum full of children, and your first instinct is to say, yeah, this is fine, I'm gonna be a libertarian about this and allow whatever I want, like, come on, man. This is why you'd get angry letters from parents, is because the forums were just a fucking joke. And I'm not saying that you have to have, I'm not, like, so, I mean, we've been joking on the forum where, like, you know, like, if I were in control of the Blockland forums, for example, I'm not saying I would ban every single person who, like, made an edgy joke or something, because there is a bunch of adults on the forum, but, like, at some point you have to say to yourself, am I going to allow this or am I not? Yeah, Lego would not allow kids to tell themselves to go kill themselves. That would be not allowed. But anyway, you get my point. There we go. So this is nice and clean now. So here's our platform, and already we're immediately getting a lot of space that we didn't normally have. So here's what I'm thinking. So the platform. So I built this with an idea of the platform being, what if the platform juts out a little bit? Like, what if we do go and have the 64x64s here, and have them all come out like that? If Bad Spot ruled Roblox with the same scale as Roblox, he would be yeah. Oh man, I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's arguments to be made for everything, but okay, I am going to, because I realized that I set myself up for this problem and didn't do anything about it. I'm going to move these off of my grids down here so I can actually see what I'm doing. So, give me 1 second here. But I have an idea for how I want to do the overhang so that there is like a bit of a balcony, and I'm going to put that like balcony part that overlooks the water. I'm going to put railings. Something that like everyone makes a joke about in like Star Wars, for example, is like, oh, there's never any railings. It's like, well, in Blockland we did the same thing because we're not worried about it. But I'm trying to make this a little more realistic in a sense. So I wonder how Compressor is doing. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's working on marble blast or whatever. I'm pretty sure I followed his Twitter on my old Twitter, and the last thing he was, I mean, this was years ago. I deleted that Twitter, or at least logged off of that Twitter. But I think the last thing he was working on was the marble game that he was like a part of. So, but yeah, okay. So I'm gonna put this here and line it up that way because I want to make sure I'm not doing the overhang wrong. So, Star Wars is not OSHA compliant at all, or ADA compliant for that matter. I don't think that I've not seen a single ramp in Star Wars. All right, let's. There we go. So then this is what I'm thinking. So then we go, and then now we've got, and so now the building itself, and now it looks like a giant coffee table, but the building itself will still fit within the parameters of this, but the overhang will be enough that, and that's where the glass part out here will extend into the building. So you won't be able to fully walk around the building. The glass will be in the way here in the corners, but it will still give the guests, so to speak, somewhere to stand without falling off. He had a Twitter, maybe. I think he still does. Yeah. Yes, he could have thrown him in a fucking wheelchair. But anyways, let's see. What kind of fencing do I want to put up here? So I was thinking of probably the bars, but also the lattice fence doesn't look too bad. And then I was even thinking of like, oh, but I do have these corner bars, which I don't have corners of anything else. So maybe I'll stick with the bars then. Because I do kind of want to put the corners in. So I want to start with the corners here so that everything's equal. That looks really nice, actually. I like that. So I am going to stick with the bars then. But Darth Vader put through perpetual pain. Palpatine made his soup suck on purpose. Probably. That's a headcanon I'm willing to accept. That Palpatine was basically like, I could make it better for you, but I want you to be in a constant state of pain because that way you're reminded of like your failures so that you never turn away from the dark side. Like, yeah, that's totally within his like Palpatine's MO. I could totally see him doing something like that. Just being like, well, you know what, Darth Vader, I could give you the state-of-the-art suit, but I bought this one on eBay and it works good enough, so here we go. Whatever space eBay would be, I don't know. Coruscant. Actually, he'd start his own thing. He'd call it, it'd be like Craigslist, but he'd call it like Sheaves List or something. I don't know. But anyway, alright, let's see what this looks like. Hopefully this lines up correctly and I don't have any... Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I figured I was doing the math right and that the corner would be, like, obviously correct, but I wasn't 100%. And you never know until you get there. Is that factual lore? I believe it. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's not canon, it should be, and if it is canon, then that's just really good canon, because that, to me, is like a really good... That is Palpatine in a nutshell, so... But... Whee! Okay. So, yeah, so we're getting... Obviously not super close to our height, but... Again, like I said, I might extend past these, but these are just my good, like, rule of thumb. Because I knew I was going to include the pillars as part of this. So that already we've got something a little bit, I think, nicer than what we were originally, like, working with here. And again, we're going to have a lot more space. And when I get to the restaurant at the top, I can already picture the scene where essentially it's like the Dark Knight. Anakin was operated on the Palpatine Surgical Reconstruction Center. Yeah, that's true. But I think the scene from the Dark Knight where when the Joker like comes in and like messes up the big fancy party, that's kind of what I'm envisioning if I'm gonna remake that scene from Isar, where it's like I think the player's name was Grammar. So like Grammar comes in and basically like interrupts this big party and starts to take the tower hostage so that he can transmit out his, he's stealing the plans for the tower. So essentially because the fictionalized version of it is that somebody showed up at one of Icy's New Year's Eve parties, got in, hit save bricks, and started hosting their own version of the tower. Somehow, Palpatine has done an epic troll. But anyway, so for my thing, in a surgical reconstruction center. So my thinking is, for my version of the story, I wanted to be... I don't know. I haven't gotten as far because I'm thinking about making it. So I have the first episode written and I don't have the second or third. And I'm thinking in my version of Icy's story, I want to have it be he steals the tower, and then I think I'm going to have there be a big character moment for Icy at some point where it's like he has to decide between, do I save my tower from leaking or do I save my friends? And I want that to sort of be like that's his arc, because like Icy in the real world, one of his problems that everyone would complain about was that they thought his ego was too big. Obviously, he was a little self-obsessive. And I want to make that his character arc too, that it's like the fictionalized version of Icy that I end up creating. He gets to actually decide. Die Hard. Yeah, a Die Hard would also be a good... You know what? Yeah, Die Hard would also be a great comparison. But like, yeah, Die Hard, if the party was like completely black tie, because I don't remember if the Nakatomi Plaza, if they're having a black tie event or not. It's been a long time since I've seen Die Hard. Maybe they are, but either way, it's that. But yeah, it's a fancy like black tie event. But anyway, yeah, I want Icy to be able to have a moment of redemption in his arc where he basically does decide to save the partygoers and his staff and says fuck it, and maybe even the tower itself gets destroyed at the end, which would be a reference to how he actually like wiped all of his real Blockland like stuff and like got rid of it. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. So I wanted to have a bunch of space in the tower so that I could actually like do this stuff that I want to do. But anyway, so yeah. Also, I always hated this like dock. This again reconstructed from Icy's thing. It's kind of plain, so we're gonna make that better. But I'm gonna worry about that later. First I'm gonna stick with the tower. Let's see. I have a question in reference to the Death Egg and Block Wars. A reference to that one build someone did of the Death Star that ended up really... Oh, I can't read it. Hold on. Sorry, I'm using a monitor that's like 720p. Okay, here we go. To that, did a build of the Death Star that ended up really oblong and stretched out like an egg. Yes. So yes. Actually, it's a couple of different things. So yeah, one, it was that Death Star build that does end up looking like an egg. Because that Death Star build, I think his name was like Trooper 76 or something. That Death Star build had all of the rooms inside of it. So it had the interrogation room, it had the trash compactor, it had the Leia's cell, it had the room where Darth Vader force chokes the guy and they have that big meeting, it had Palpatine's throne room, it had everything from Death Star 1 and 2 all packed into it as like a big like deathmatch map or something, I think is what it was intended to be. But yes, yeah, so someone built it like that and like, yeah, back in like V8, and so we saw that and they were like, hey, do you want to use this? And we're like, oh my god, yes, it looks like an egg. And then, of course, it was Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, the Death Egg being Eggman's, like, fucking thing. We were like, oh, well, we could call it the Death Egg so that it's a reference to the fact that it looks like an egg. It's a reference to Sonic, and it's a fact that we're not calling it the Death Star because we're trying to be a little bit original in all of it. So, yeah, it was a completely, like, that builds brick set once by looking in the, and seeing, yeah. I would love, does somebody, yeah, I was going to say, if somebody still has that save, I'd love to see it again. I miss that save. I miss running around that save. Again, I probably have it. So, here, I'll switch to this real quick. So this, I have my old external, right, which is starting to fall apart. You can see it's, like, coming undone. I just need to find every single cable I found for it. I have the right cable. But the problem is none of the cables I have, I think, are data cables. I think they're all power cables. I need to find a data cable that still has the USB type whatever this was. You know, not type C, but the one, and not type, the little one that, you know what I'm trying to say, the big fat guy. USB mini, I think it was called. But anyway, I need to find one that's actually a data cable. But on this hard drive this was my very first terabyte hard drive, and I remember I think I paid like 200-300 bucks for it back in the day because it was a terabyte, and I was like, that's insane that it's a terabyte. I can't believe we have a whole terabyte. Now I have a 4 terabyte hard drive internal that I think I bought for 80 bucks or whatever, much later. Now now with solid state. Here, I got this. This is a solid state drive. This is 30 terabytes, and I'm not kidding. This is 30 terabytes, and I think I got it online for like, it was on sale. It was only like 20 bucks. So this is 30 times the space of this fucker, and I paid like a fraction of the price for it. But anyway, the point of that story is, if I can get into this, this has everything I've ever done from like 2006 to today. So this is like 20 years worth of stuff. I mean, I don't save things onto it now, so it stops at a certain point. I think it stops at like 2015, 16 in that era, because that's when I would have started using more internal drives. But anyway, this might have, my point of bringing it up is that might have the build of the Death Egg on it that I had saved, and it might be in my old Block Wars stuff. So yeah, micro or mini or whatever, yeah, but yeah, if you can find it too, if you have it, by all means, if somebody has it and can send it to me, I would love to see that again, because I haven't seen it since doing the original Block Wars. So, but yeah, anyway, where was I going? So I would like to, so how does this start? So it is just right there, and yeah, I guess that makes sense. So let's pull up the cube and let's have it be lined up here. There we go. And we will use this as our reference. So I'm thinking, so we've got the space to make it a little bit taller too than how Icy had it. Because he had it, let's see, how tall were his windows? They're pretty tall. They're taller than a Blockhead minifigure scale. So, are you on Discord? Yeah, I am on Discord. So I am actually right now. If you are in the where is it? Discord. If you're in the Blockland United Discord. Cornered bars. I don't know what that meant. But if you're in the Blockland United Discord, and then also just on Discord in general, my name is Will Sig right now. But in here, obviously, I'm still named as Swahali. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of me on Discord, join the Blockland United Discord, because I use that the most, because I am a mod over there, and it's got a lot of us all collected in there. But also, I just reopened the BLC Blockland Classics Discord, so you can also join that, and there's a link to that somewhere. Did I put it in off-topic? I don't remember where I put it. It's somewhere, but you can get to either of these things. So, but yes, I am on Discord, and you can get me there. But let me go back to Blockland. So, alright, so anyway, so let's see here. So I want to recreate this thing. I wanted to pull up some reference photos of like stuff. So let me pull back. Actually, let me go back to this because I am doing okay, anyway. Let me see. What's a good tower? Let's just search tower lobby and see what we get. So here's what I mean. So like, look at this. Like, so obviously I don't want it to be this tall, but that's how tall a tower could be. And in the real world, you know, thinking about it, it's like most lobbies are like huge like that. So I'm not going to go necessarily that big, but I'm thinking something a little bit bigger. Like even this, like maybe like, yeah, like 2 or 3 windows high, and then like putting like the receptionist desks like over here and like a security. Even this is pretty tall, you know, when you think about it. So that's like 2 floors essentially. So let's see. Big ass windows. Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, I am in the B4V21 Discord as well. So yeah, you can find me in there too. I do like those angled windows. I don't think I have angled windows installed, but maybe I do. And this one's pretty good. Oh, that's the World Trade Center. That's funny. But I was looking at the World Trade Center as a for scale, because they are obviously just towers. So I did look at them just as, wow. For a second I was like, that looks like Blockland. It's not. It's just some low poly thing. But anyway, so yeah, this is kind of the lobby I'm thinking of then. I kind of want to go with this modern high-rise corporate lobby. Let me see if this is a whole gallery or not. I'm hoping that it is. The Matrix lobby also, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess it's not really... I mean, it's a gallery, but it's not all of the same building. But it's kind of like a mood board. So it gives you something for that. Ooh, I don't know why I'm yawning. It's only 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. I shouldn't be tired, but for some reason I am. But I'm thinking of, yeah, like a modern lobby looking something like this. So let's go with that. Let's go back to the original picture. I really like this, and it looks like this might be from it too. Not that. Yeah, so I kind of like the dark grays, and I like that as the elevator. So we're going to have a place for the elevators and the stairwell and all of that stuff. So, alright, let's go back to Blockland. So, okay. So yeah, so let's think here. So here's my corner. So so what I'm gonna do is I'm definitely going to start by basically just what would the phrase be? Just coming up with a frame. So let's put it here, and then there, and then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm just doing this to line everything up. Obviously, my building skills have gotten better over the years, but I still just build however I feel like building. So if I do something where you're like, I'd do that differently, like, okay, I'm gonna still do it my way. I know no one's actually necessarily going to say anything, but you know what I mean. Just if you see me do something where you're like, hey, there's an easier way to do that. If there's an easier way to do something, obviously tell me. But if it's just me doing something like to line things up like this, like, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. You can't stop me. And I'm not saying that there's necessarily an easier way than this, like, but... Sorry, I moved the chat window again. What do we got? I remembered how I used to have a thing for building the Twin Towers. Yeah. There was... Who was that guy? Do you remember... He had his own, like, full, like, roleplay. Like, Pikarika? Or Pikari? Or whatever, like... You'll know what I'm talking about as soon as, like, he had his whole... I don't remember his name. Antilles or something... He had, like, the United States... now I'm going to pull that up because I'm going on a tangent and it's making me think of it. But let me see if I can't find it. The United States of Perikia or something. Blockland. Let's see if I find it. Oh, I want to add that, not... United States... Pikarica. Thank you, that's what it was. P-E-E-K... A-R-I-C-A. Pikarica. There it is. He's still doing stuff. That's the funny thing. But I remember always finding his stuff. Funnily enough, I remember specifically finding some of his stuff while out on the internet looking at, like on 9/11's anniversaries, like when YouTube is like, hey, do you want to watch a documentary about 9/11? And I'm usually just like, no, but sometimes I'm in the mood where I'm like, all right, I guess I want to watch a documentary about 9/11. And then you're on YouTube and you'll get recommended videos, and obviously because my algorithm says, hey, you might like Blockland stuff, my algorithm also says, hey, here's this dude. Yeah, there he is, Antares Andrews. But yeah, so this is, when was this uploaded? Oh, this is 8 years ago on its own. Yeah. But this stuff, I am ready. Here it is. I don't know, I love his stuff. I always thought his stuff was interesting. Let's see. I want to find his Twin Towers though. This is not what I wanted. Oh, Temu unboxing. Okay. Oh, and he had, yeah. And it looks like he's working in. Is that Bracadia? I think he's working in Bracadia now. Yeah, Pikarica. Picarica. I can't pronounce that. I know it's supposed to be like America, but like Picarica, like, but it's like really hard for my brain to want to say it, so I'm not going to say it or try to say it. Oh, it's just an engine. It's just an Unreal Engine. Okay, I thought he was doing, which I guess, I mean, Bracadia is an Unreal Engine, isn't it? So, let's see. The fictional, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't say that it's Bracadia, so I guess he's just putting things in, putting it into an engine on his own. That's cool, though. But anyway, let me see if I can't find the Twin Towers. That's what I'm really looking for. I do. Oh, I also remember Classic Mod. That's cool too. I guess he was working on that. Where are your videos, buddy? Huh, neat. Wait, that has the Twin Towers in it. And it's in an engine with nice lighting. Let's see. He also did the Titanic RPs, and of course he made the Myst video. Oh, that's right! He did make the Myst video. We were talking about him in the last stream. That's so funny. Yeah, his ships were cool too. Yeah, I mean, he was making Titanics and stuff in the way that like Bones was making the Titanic and all of that. But so here you go. There's his Twin Towers. So this is cool. I kind of always wanted to do something similar. I wanted to make my own build called New Block City. And basically it would just be New York, but it would be but obviously like GFS Ghost did his like his maps and stuff. I kind of always wanted to remake those too. This is cute though. This is clearly like, I think he did do this as like map shapes and stuff. Where's the Twin Towers? Oh, is that his? Oh, that's not. Okay, I thought that was the one Freedom Tower. It kind of looked like it for a second. Anyway, okay, I really want to see, though, specifically, I just want to see this one video I'm thinking of that always pops up. The Jet Sky Trade Center Plaza. That's 22. That's more recent. That's interesting. But, let me see if I can find the one video that I'm specifically thinking of, though. It's from way, way back in the day. And use the maps and edit them to sync. Oh, that's cool. Shh. Oh, hang on. I got somebody at my door. I'm going to take a quick side. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Looks like everything like loaded in immediately. But anyway, so where was I? Okay. Here we go. Here's his Titanic liners. So yeah, I guess these weren't brick built, were they? These were all like maps and stuff. Maybe I'm not going to find that video that I'm thinking of. I'll see it eventually and I'll be like, yeah, these are really old, but okay, it's maybe not. It's probably this one, because this one would show up in my my like ex-president Twix. I love this. This, yeah, I think it's this video. This would show up on my like my recommendeds for 9/11 like documentaries and things. But I like that. Let's look at this real quick too, because here we are. We're actually in the Jet Sky Trade Center Plaza in Peak City. I do like his flag being an alternative history. So actually, that's something I can bring up real quick. That I started the stream with that I was gonna look at. This isn't like a surprise or anything, but this is something that I've been working on. The idea of a Blockland alternate history, or just a lore, and so I'm writing this like essentially a history book of this like made up history. And something I really like about what he was doing with his like roleplay stuff is that it was like, I feel like, and this goes back to Icy and his stuff. I feel like stuff like this, like the Isar Tower, I feel like Icy got so bullied for this stuff. And again, I get it. I understand. Like, he was doing the things with the biography. He was doing stuff with, like, you know, whatever. I get why he got bullied. But I do truly believe that the stuff that he was putting out and the stuff that, like Antares is putting out, or Antares, or however you say his name, like Peak Twix, whatever his username used to be, like, the stuff that was going on, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the idea of wanting to do some kind of role-playing in the game beyond just doing a roleplay server, like doing an actual story, doing something where the events of which your, like, universe have history of, you know? And it's like, so I think that, like, that's why I'm doing this with the tower here, is that something I really wanted to, like, kind of capture and recreate was, like, with IcyGamma, yes, I only found out he was cringe years later. And that's the thing, like, was he technically cringe? Sure, yes. But, like you said, I was impressed with him too. I mean, I worked with him. I mean, that's the thing, I don't know how many people remember that, but, like, I was on Late Night Blockland show, or whatever it was called, to promote Block Wars. I came on his show. I did a couple of voice acting bits for a couple of his videos. I was in his one video where he did a news broadcast where he had a couple talking heads, and I was one of the guys who got to, like, spout a bunch of weird conspiracy theories and, like, shout over top of everybody. So it's like, I always thought IcyGamma's stuff was cool, in the sense that, like, he was trying to do something that I felt like nobody else was trying to do. I also thought his, like, microblock stuff was cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to have, here, I'm gonna go back to the Blockland, because I'm gonna go back to building. Oh my god, I lost my mouse. Ugh, it's been so long since I've had two monitors, it's like I get lost. But, like, I think, personally, building computers within the game, obviously, sure, they're super rudimentary. They're really kind of silly things in their own right, because they can't do anything, right? They're essentially just interactive props. But the fact that he had his whole brand, he would have his own, like, campus where he would show these things off. He would eventually build here, you know, Isar Tower, which this is my recreation of, but, like, he would build this thing and, like, be like, I want to host all these servers where people can hang out and can, like, have rooms and do different stuff. Like, I don't think that there is anything wrong with any of that. And I think, now that I am in my 30s and no longer a teenager like we all were, I think we were absolutely too mean to him. I think that we absolutely drove him away when he was one of our more interesting and prolific creators. Was everything he did cool? No, I'm not saying that. But was everything I did cool? Also no. You know what I mean? Like, not everything I came up with was a perfect idea. Like, even Block Wars, when it comes down to it, I didn't even make the first topic all that great. I called it, Who's Up for Movie Making? I didn't even make the topic, like, say what we were doing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I made mistakes. I was a teenager. I was a fallible human teenager with, like, problems. We all were. And so I think that part of the reason I'm so obsessed with Icy and, like, this tower, and why this is, like, one of these projects I'm trying to resurrect, is that it's like, there's something about this that is, I mean, this is now lost media, obviously, like, because this is the closest thing we have, as far as I know, and I don't mean because I built it, I just mean in general, this is the closest thing we have to this recreation. A little lag spike there. of this time in our lives where we were doing this stuff, because he deleted everything. You know what I mean? And I don't blame him. He deleted his whole YouTube channel because everyone was just dogging on him. And he was one of the first people to make a super serious Blockland machinima that I can remember. I mean, I know Darkstar was doing some stuff that were, like, you know, they were serious in the sense that they were, you know, like action or horror or things like that. But IcyGamma made the very first story-driven, serious machinima that was just not a comedy like the rest of us were making. And he really, truthfully, as far as I can think back, he's one of the first ones, if not the first one, to do that. And, like, I don't know. I guess my point is, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is, like, is cringe. He was, oh yeah, the zine! That's right, he was doing Blockland magazine. Like, he was trying to add these elements to the game that were more than just building and all of this different stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, you know, obviously building is the most important part of a block game, but, like, that's the point. It's a sandbox, right? It's a sandbox where you can do whatever you want. And he said, well, I want to have a quote-unquote business where I am quote-unquote the Steve Jobs of my quote-unquote company where we build quote-unquote computers. And it's like, yeah, that's why I put quotes on everything, because none of it was technically real, sure. But it was still, he was just having fun in his own way. And if we all could have just, like, taken our heads out of our asses for long enough and just said, hey, yeah, you know what? I am going to play along. I am going to take you seriously enough to make this like a thing. I'm not going to make you feel like an asshole just for putting out a video that you wanted to put out. And the fact that he ended up deleting all of his shit, I think, is one of the biggest tragedies of our stuff, because some of his machinimas were legitimately really good. And I think we're actually, like, funny and engaging and interesting. And the fact that we, I don't know, just did what we did. And, like, I'm not saying I am personally a partake of it, but obviously I'm talking about us, the community. Like, the fact that we bullied the shit out of him to the point where he deleted every single thing that he had and that you cannot find any of his digital footprint anymore. Every bit of it is gone. And I have searched long and hard to try to find, I just said long and hard. I have searched far and wide to try to find some of his stuff, and it is all gone. And, like, obviously, if somebody out there still has any of it saved, by all means, you know, please tell me. But Blockland politics, like with the president of Blockland, yeah, actually, hang on. I mean, yes, that's the thing. We could go that far. We really could. But I do have, I don't know if anyone remembers this. Speaking of, let me see if I can just find it. Here we go. We did do sort of, kind of, as a joke. And again, this is what I mean. We did this as a joke, right? I made this as a joke. Where it was me and Wedge were running for president. And yes, Wedge, I don't know why. I don't remember how Wedge got involved and said he'd be my running mate, but he was like, yeah, let's do it. But, like, me and Wedge were running for president, and I got to throw in the little Obama in my O, because I thought that was funny, too. But, like, because, okay, I don't know how many, because I took it down. That's why. Was it on my other channel? Which channel was it on? I think it's on my main channel. I did not delete it. I didn't delete anything, but I did make it private. So I might have to switch to this account to pull it up. Go to my main account. Yep, there we go. Okay. Real quick tangent.
But you know him most as Bad Spot.
Tried to make an attack ad.
Do we really know our glorious leader?
Yeah, it's like it's like enough to because the band
He calls you zealous. Can we really afford 4 more years of a bad spot?
I forgot about this.
Presidential candidate Swahili.
That's my senior photo from high school.
I'm presidential candidate Swahili.
Oh man, look at how heavy I was, and look at how shitty my camera was too.
We're a forum of gamers who love this game, cherish it for what it is, and we deserve equal representation. I'm here to tell you that
See, I did this. For example, I did this, right? This was for fun. This was to be goofy. And it was a joke, sure. But I did it, right? Nobody made fun of me. Nobody...
A vote for Swahili is a vote for the future.
Nobody bullied... Yeah, nobody bullied me off the forums for making this. Like, most people got the joke. And, like, you know... Like, we were just making a joke. We were just making a joke. It was all a joke from the start, okay? But, let me switch back to the other account just so that nothing gets messed up if I'm doing stuff. But, here we go. I was really sad when I couldn't find... Yeah, his Cloverfield parody. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things. But, like, no... So that's my point, though. So, like, nobody bullied me off of the forums because I wanted to play pretend and be Blockland president. Yeah, I know when the forums were blue. Make the forums blue again. If I run for president this time, that's what my campaign slogan will be. Make the forums blue again. But like, that's my point. Like, we could have done a Blockland president. We could have done a. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going on to so many different tangents here. But I want to show one more thing. So the Habbo. Do you remember Habbo Hotel? I'm sure you do. I mean, we all do, because that was the pool's closed moon, and I spelled it wrong. It's 2 B's. But yeah, Habbo Hotel. However, do you remember... Oh, I can't spell for shit. Habbo Hotel President. They used to do... Here we go, the Habbo White House. Yeah, here it is. They used to do this. Wow, this is actually way... I'm shocked this still exists. Office of the President. That's apparently their current president. I don't know how long ago this, it says 2026, but that could be dynamic. I don't know how long ago they actually, here we go. There's apparently a server still running. And this is apparently, like, that's what I mean. Like, this is all for a fictional presidency inside of a chat game. That is, like, no more powerful than, like, Club Penguin when it comes down to it. There you go. Yeah, look. Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, 382 current employees of the Habbo Hotel White House. Like, justice. Justice! Freedom of information! Ah, okay. I don't know actually how long ago this was actually updated. Oh, no, there's a press briefing from 2026. That's amazing. This was April of 2026. So they're still doing this. They're still doing this. They still have a president. They have a press secretary. Like, they have a press secretary for Habbo Hotel. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, we could still try. There's nothing stopping us. But I guess my point being... That's something you could do in Habbo Hotel, right? Like, you could role play as the president. Why couldn't we have done that in Blockland? Why couldn't we have had a Blockland president and a Blockland Congress and a Blockland prime minister and a Blockland every form of government if you wanted to do that? Why not? What is stopping you? I mean, now obviously the community is smaller, so it's like there's not very as many players who would be dedicated to doing something like that right now, but like, who cares? Who cares? It's what we were saying on the last stream. Who gives a shit? Just do whatever you want. Have fun. The whole point of this goddamn game is to have fun. And that's what I feel like we were so mean to Icy. Is that we did not allow him to have fun in a way that he wanted to have fun. And I think that that is really silly of us for having done that. I'm going to do the glass this way, I'm thinking. I just had this thought while I was talking. I want to see what this looks like. But, like, yeah. Like, if the whole point of a game... And I just said it. If the whole point of a game is to have fun in the game, why do we have to be so... I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. Now I'm in the build mode, so I'm like... I want to see if, with this being transparent, if it will look the way I think it should look. Is that the fully... Is it this one? That one's better. Whoops. Yeah, I don't hate that. But Roblox did stuff like that before, with even the community having stuff like people RPing as different nations, which just made war clans. Yeah, but okay, why not? You could have a war clan too. We could have wars. I don't know. Like, the whole point of being a person, the whole point of, like, existing is to just, like, is to do stuff like this, right? Is to have as much fun as possible, I would say. Because otherwise you're going to die, and then you're going to not have gotten to have had as much fun as you could have. And I think that's sad. And I think it's sad that what we did to Icy as a community, I think that's sad too. And so I guess that's my point as to why I am resurrecting his tower here and making even my own, like, better, bigger version of it, is because I do think that we kind of owe him a community apology. And I do think that something that we could do to try to revitalize the community a little bit, because we're all talking about what are ways to bring the community back. Obviously, you know, we're never going to have the same number of players we used to have. That's a given, right? But like, who's to say we can't have fun and do stuff? Like, have a Blockland president who's like the actual quote-unquote president of Blockland and, like, does, you know, presidential stuff. Why does it look... Why can you see... What did I do differently? Whatever. I don't know if I like that color either. I kind of did like maybe the... Whoops. The darker? Yeah, I kind of like that better. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Let's stick with that. But, like, something we could do to try to build out the community again is, like, saying, like, why not? We accept you if you want to roleplay. You know what I mean? President Swahili declares war on the Republic of Bricadia. Yes, but no, yeah, but, like, that's what I mean, though. Like, if you want to roleplay, that's so weird. Why are some of them... Why does it, like... Is it the way I have them rotated? I actually don't like that as much anymore. Is it these? Could I... If I get rid of the center ones, will that... You know what? That might be... I don't need them, because I'm going to just cover them with other bricks. Let's see what that actually ends up looking like. I think it is. Yeah, I think this was what was creating that effect that I didn't like. I'll leave that one at the end there. No, that's still just... It's so weird. It's... I don't know. Because it doesn't look like that on this side. I hate how transparency works. I have a save of one of his computers, but loading it crashed the game. I'll have to figure out what add-ons it needs. Yeah, somebody... And I don't remember if it was you, but somebody did send me some of the saves of his stuff. And I do still have a couple of those myself, but... okay, I was hoping... I just realized this is... None of these are connected now, so... That doesn't look that great either, though, does it? I don't like Blockland's transparency, obviously. Is this the one that's... Yeah, that's the one that's completely see-through. Well, I guess I'm gonna stick with this, because I think the black didn't look as much like how I wanted it to. Alright, well, we're just gonna have to live with it, but it doesn't... It only looks weird from certain angles, so, you know, it does the job. Yeah, like, well, who's to say deleting everything is probably the Blockland version of burning... Yeah, it is the version of burning the Library of Alexandria. Like, absolutely it is. But who's to say, like, if a bunch of new players were to, say, join, right? And a bunch of new players came in, how many of those players would probably be like, oh, hey, I wanna do role playing or something. I wanna do this, that, because I mean, you know, that's something I see all the time. If you're talking about Roblox, that's what all the kids are doing on Roblox. They're playing role plays, if not the, you know, if they're not playing the other stuff, you know, whatever. So it's like, who's to say that somebody wouldn't want to join and, like, be like, hey, can I role play? And we all say no, we don't do role playing here. We find that cringe. Like, oh, sorry, you can't roleplay in our server. That's pretty cringe. Like, nobody's gonna want to actually, like, join, are they? And so I think that it's like, hey, Blockland is so prone to losing stuff. Yeah, it is. But I think... 28 of 31. Which ones didn't get... Let's disappointing, but it seems that most people in the community like to preserve as much as possible. Yes, I agree. I'm also a preservationist in that regard. I think we should be. Why did I select other bricks that aren't showing and I'm just not seeing them? Like, oh, okay. Haha, I didn't realize I grabbed some of that. Okay, cool. I don't want to be duplicating that, obviously. So let's see. How high do we have to go for this? Oops. Whoop. Oh, and you can really see. Maybe I won't do it that way then, huh? Especially when the forum posts lose their images at this. Yeah, as stuff shuts down. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff, old stuff. That's I guess that's not too bad. It kind of just looks like different panes of glass, huh? Right? I think you can see, because I know Blockland's transparency is all goofed up anyway, so it's like I'm not gonna get a perfect. But I mean, when I did it this way, obviously it looks okay. But I hate how jaggedy it is, because that's, I know that's the Blockland aesthetic. I'm gonna keep this for now. If I decide something different, then whatever, I'll decide something different. Wow, how high can we go? So you know what? Now that I'm actually looking at my, looking at like this, whoops. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to stop. I mean, that's about a brick taller than what I had, but that's a pretty good place to stop. Yeah, Photo Bucket. Yeah, Photo Bucket was what I was saying. Like, yeah, Photo Bucket is like dead. And there's so much of the stuff that I was doing that I've used to host on Photo Bucket. Like, a lot of my old screenshots are on Photo Bucket. Every single forum game that I ran when I was still doing those are all on Photo Bucket, and they all have like broken links now. It's really sad, the things that are dying slowly. Do I have fill can? No, wait, no, because if I fill can, it'll fill everything. So I am just going to do it the manual way. I could have just changed this color before I duplicated everything, but whatever. Whee! Okay, did I get them all? Yes, perfect. And then, so another thing that Icy did, his things, like, they all coalesce into the building like that. So I need to do something similar. I kind of like that, honestly, like a little bit of like that pain. Like I kind of dig it. So I'm gonna leave that. I think it kind of adds a little bit of an effect that I didn't expect, but like I don't hate anymore. So I'm gonna kind of stick with that. So anyway, so how does this? I keep looking over and it's not there because I'm going way higher. So yeah, it completely coalesces into the building. When Edsward and team and I used to do a long-running RP, Half-Life 1 and 2, but it was written by a DA user with the ponies. And but right? I don't know, like, that's fun, right? I like doing stuff like that. I don't know. Okay, so how many out is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I guess 16, technically. Of course it ended on a cliffhanger. A lot of my forum adventures ended up ending on cliffhangers because I obviously never finished them. If you guys remember Meenan, the user, him and I were running what we called the Endeavorverse, which was... because Supreme Guy had his characters were part of the Endeavor, because his forum adventures were all from Endeavor. So we would use his sprite bases to make all of our forum adventures. And so, but a lot of my forum adventures I never ever finished. So a lot of them just end on like battles that we were in the middle of that I just never got around to doing. But oh well. There are no wedge ramps, are there? That's okay, though. I'm going to use... I am going to use the 72 by 72 corner bricks. But then that's going to leave me... That's going to look weird, isn't it? Well... I guess it's not the weirdest. It'll work. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be functional. And for some reason, aperture or block Aperture became Black Mesa. Right? I guess my point being, though, as to what I was trying to say about all of this, and to like what you're saying there, is that it's like, I think we have all of this room for lore, right? For there to be like a kind of like a lore in this game that I don't think... Ooh, I mean, I know I'm gonna have to go a little bit farther down to make that fully, but I don't know if I want to anymore. I kind of like it. Or I guess you know what I could do. I don't have to use that ramp. I could. Well, that's gonna be taller. I mean, even though that's kind of what I was thinking, but I could use a 45-degree ramp corner. And then that should slope a little bit differently. Oops, didn't mean to rotate it, just meant to move it. But yeah, Blockland has room, because it's a sandbox engine. Let me put it this way. Because the game is a sandbox, and because role-playing has every bit as much importance in this game as anything else, I think that we should just be allowed to give ourselves permission to say, fuck it, if I want to do an IcyGamma style thing, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why, I don't care about cringe anymore. I don't care. There's no such thing to me anymore. Because it's like, technically everything is cringe if you go down that route. Like, of course this is cringy. It's Blockland. It's going to be cringy. That looks okay. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I don't know what I want to do about that. Are there wedge ramps? I'm asking as if though I can't just look that up. Let me go look that up. Let me go see. Ooh, but yeah, let me go. I don't have to keep switching just to show you what I'm doing, but it's like, I don't know, that for later when we're on this in the recording, so you know what I'm actually looking at. Wedge ramp brick Blockland. There probably are, and I just wedge ramps. There they are. Let me see. Do I have them already, or oh? Okay, yeah. So I do. Do I have these installed? Am I like looking at these and not even realizing that I have them? Or are they in ramps in their own category? They are. Here they are. I do have these, don't I? Sorta, kinda. Well, that's the same. Or is this the same thing? I don't know. And the thing is, even if I do have these, a 65-degree cone, that's interesting. I didn't know that existed. Oh my god, I didn't know this existed. That's cool. Shit, I have all these bricks installed and I don't even know what they are. Let me look at the chat real quick. I think so. Okay, yeah, so I don't know if I have these installed or not. Let's just, real quick, let's see what the file is called. So brick wedge ramps, yeah, cool. Let's see what's in my add-ons folder. Brick. Oh, brick. Windows. Wedge ramps. Yeah, they're right there. Okay, I guess I have them. Alright, so which ones am I looking for? Which ones do I want to use? This? Probably that, yeah? So it's the wedge ramp X1. 45-degree wedge ramp. So apparently I have this shit. So I guess it's under wedges. And right here, they're right in front of me. Oh my god. I was looking right at them. Yeah, I have them. They're under that. They're at the top. Yeah, I realized that a little too late, didn't I? Oh well. So let's see. I like how these don't have an icon, but let's see what this looks like. Oh, but here's the question, though. How hard are these? Yeah, that's what I want. How hard are these to stack? Are they stackable? Like, no, not really, are they? I mean, obviously I'd have to put, but yeah, that's not really what I want, huh? So hold on. I know. I wish. What else do I have in here? I know these are all. Let me just hold on. Let me just. I'm just gonna look at all of them because I don't actually know what they look like. Whee! All right. So that one. That's a inverted. That's got a print on it. That's a bigger one with a print, So yeah, none of these are exactly what I want, though. That's the problem. What are these? What would these have use? So like, yeah. So like, it's like they're for little pyramid-y type stuff. I don't blame you. I have issues of not seeing things in front of me. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's one of my biggest... I don't know if it's the ADHD or, like, whatever's wrong with my brain. That sort of thing happens to me all the time, especially at work. I hate when I'm looking... Because I work at a library, right? I hate when I'm literally looking for a book for somebody, and it's right in front of my fucking face, and I'm, like, going, I can't see it. I can't... Oh, there it is. Like, duh. And the patron has been looking at it the entire time going, it's right there. Just look at it. And I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just dumbass. But anyway... So what am I gonna do here? Because what I want... See, this is where it's like, is this a moment where I'm just going to create a custom brick? Because I think that might be what I do here. So let's save, because this is a good practice just to obviously save, just in case everything crashes. But let's save, and then real quick, while we're looking at it, do I want to create a custom thing for this? I might. Tore at my house when I lost my drawing pen only for it to be on the... Yep. I lose things all the time. I lose my phone especially. Like, I have to... That's what this little dangly thing is. Like, I need this on, and so I can clip it to me, because sometimes I will lose my phone with, like, nothing. And it's ridiculous. And I'll be like, I'm about to leave for work, and I need my phone to go to work. Or my keys. My keys are sitting somewhere. Oh, yeah, here. They're sitting on the table, right? Because if and my headphones, like, if I'm going out, you know, like, and it's like, if I lose those things, I'm like, fuck, where are they? Anyway, alright. So let's look at this. So what am I doing here? So, okay, I am going to leave Blockland open for a second. So we're going to pull up, so this is Blender 2.77. So actually, Daffy, this is, if you're still working on this Blender version, trying to figure it out, this is, I'm not a tutorial, but this is like, this is my workflow. So Blender, I use this Blender primarily because it's the one that, oh, I just closed all my windows. Why did you do that? Oh man, come back. And then the chat. I need those. Okay. But yeah, so this is Blender 2.77. So this is the one that works with Blockland. So anyway, so Blockland's scale is all wonky. So this is the correct scale. Is to then make this a 1 by 1 by 1.2. So this is what I was saying about how I found the found the scale height, right? So 3 of these is a meter or whatever. So Blockland is funny. Blockland is actually half of that. I don't know why. That's just where Eric's like scale, or maybe that was how Torque was scaled, and then like now modern Blender, like we use a different unit of measurement. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so this is where it needs to be. So I need to see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14. So if we put 1 here, so then 1, 2, oh, I can do this easier, can't I? So we're going to offset it by that, and then we're going to make it 13, right? Because then that'll be 14. 1, or how many? Now, see, here you go. How many did I fucking count? So starting at this brick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, okay, so this does need to be 14. So that should... So if I take my cube here... So this should be, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, okay. take that array off, and then now, so that's the distance that I need to cover. So, another thing then, I need my scale, and it is, so this is the 1 by 5, right? So I need to bop this boy up. We'll do another array, and for z-axis, and he needs to be 5 tall. So there's my talking to Conan about doing the helmet. Yeah, Conan is literally, I'm not going to pull up our private chats, but I will say he's on here right there, like, because basically he is I'm still pulling up private chats, but basically he is like legitimately he is the Blockland wizard. He is the TorqueScript wizard. That man knows everything there is to know about TorqueScript. If I have any questions whatsoever, I always go to Conan. He knows exactly how to answer, and he'll always have an answer. He'll have something. So yeah, he is an invaluable resource. If you can talk to him, like, he's the one. So anyway, so I need this to be 10 high instead of 5. Okay, so there's the distance I actually need these two things to cover. So what I'm looking at then is I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to join these two things together so that I can do this. So I guess they need to link up. How do I want to do this? Like that, right? I think this will work as just doing it like as a custom brick. Well, not a custom brick, but just a custom shape. Oops. Not that. This vertice and this vertice. So those things come together. So something like this, basically, is the shape that I need. Oh yeah, the text. Yeah, so textures are weird in this version. So another thing, actually, this I might be able to help you real quick. So I don't know if you've done this yet. So when you're doing textures in 2.7, the way to actually do them is so you create a material, you go into the texture tab, and then create a new texture, and then open the image from there. And the texture, this name, so like whatever, also needs to be the same name as the material, which needs to be the same name as the PNG file that you pull up. So it has to be whatever.png, or it will not work. So I don't know if that's something that you've had trouble with, but it might just be, I've been thinking about it, it might just not be showing up because of that instance. So that's something, if you haven't done that. If you have, then I don't know. I don't know what to do for you, but does that look right? I feel like that doesn't even look right. But whatever. I think that'll look right. Let's go ahead and just get rid of some of these extra faces that we don't need. There we go. Oh, I guess we also have these extra faces that we don't need, because I forgot that the array would, of course, do that. My cat, man, she's like pulling stuff out of the carpet. I don't know. She's not hurting anything, so I'm not going to bother her, but like she's making noises that I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there? So let's see what this looks like if we make these quads. And then I guess, oh, I do want to get rid of all of these, don't I? Because I don't need this many vertices. Let's just, oops. And then, oh, you know what? I can just get rid of all of this. Oh, man. Box select. There we go. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, and then now I'm just going to merge. Oops. Last. Oh, no. Okay, how about just... Yeah, okay. Well, no, okay, this is... I'm still doing this dumb. Here we go. I just need to make faces is what I need to be doing. Okay, there we go. And then I can get rid of this, too. And that. And these... this will be a face. This will be a face. And then this will be a face. And then now... I can just do that. Yep, there we go. And so... that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I don't hate that. I'll have to make 4 of these though, won't I? Because if it's not a brick, I guess I could try making this a brick, couldn't I? I could export this as an OBJ and then use the thing, or if that still works, I don't even know. Oh God, is it OBJ to BLB? Is that does that still work? Yeah. So that's still out there. So I guess I could try this. I didn't even think about that. I totally could. Is this just the code? It's a Python script. Yeah, I don't remember how to use it. I'm not... Here we go. This is from 2013. To download, send an email. I remember that. And no. Does anyone have the OBJ to BLB? I know it's a Python script that I don't remember. I've done it. I don't remember how I've done it, but I have done it once. And I know, did Bad Spot still have it? I hate that Millie Bobby Brown is right there with her tits out. Because I remember when she was like 13 and for the first time in Stranger Things, and it's weird that she's like an adult. And like, it's fine, she can do whatever she wants. I'm not like slut shaming her or whatever. I'm saying like, it's just strange to be like, I remember when you were a child, now you're not a child, and I'm not attracted to you personally because you're like 15, 20 years my junior, but like, it's weird that she's like all over the place now with just her boobies out. What am I trying to do? Support? No. Downloads? Here we go. That's the exporter for Blender. Milkshape. Here we go. Object to BLB converter. This is the one Bad Spot put out. So, she has a kid. I know, yeah, she has a kid, and that's what I mean. It's like, cool. Like, she's an adult. She's allowed to do these things. She's allowed to have a child or whatever, but like, fuck it. I don't know. All right, so is this the thing where you drag it on top of it and like it just converts? I forget. Or do I have to open it as a program? No, okay, yeah, you just drag on top, I think. So, all right, so anyway, so what am I trying to do here? So what do I want this to look like while I'm at it? So I want that to be, okay, so I definitely want, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gotten rid of all of the vertices I got rid of, but, well, you know what, we can still just, we can do this, boop, there we go, and then, oh wait, hold on, how do I want to do this? Just put a loop cut here, I think. I know that's not, I know that's no longer like a brick, but, and then essentially what I want is I want these faces to be translucent and the rest of it to be, to watch as I want to make packs for Blockland. Yeah, sure, yeah, let's see if I can't figure this out in real time on stream. I have made bricks before, but, and then also transparency, of course, just works so funky too. I'm not going to get a perfect transparency out of this, am I? So, because what is with TrueNose color set, the standard 9, I think I can, right? If I go to colors, how are colors? Yeah, here we go. Color set TrueNose, and I know they're just so transparent standard. So this one, right? 255, 255, 64. Hi, baby. I'm not even going to bother opening Photoshop. I'm going to use the online alternative Photopia or Photopea, whichever you want to call it. And that's because I don't have to wait for Photoshop to load to do this, because I just want to check a color. So if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, 255, 255. So, and then so what's the 64? That's the alpha channel. I don't remember what that would be. What that percentage. I guess I can do the math, can't I? All right. Because I basically then, so it's 64 divided by 255, right? And so it's 25% opacity. So that, okay, cool. So that's where I need to be. So going back to Photopia. Oh, sorry. I'm trying. I know I'm in streamer mode, but it still doesn't. I don't mean to be. So if I go back, so I'm going to create a new 16 by 16 thing because I don't care about that. And I'm going to change the background to an editable layer. Get rid of it. And then so at 25% opacity, I should be able to... Oh, wait, no. I'm silly. Hold on. I need to do this. At 25% opacity, I should get the correct color. So we're going to export that as a PNG. We're going to call it white tran and save. And then real quick too, because I'm... what other color am I using? There we go. I'm using this color, right? Oh, I forgot I'm in the Specials 2, I think is what it is. Yep, okay, so Specials 2. And the first color is 255, 231, 186. So a lot of the time when I'm doing anything, I'll just screenshot this and like literally just use a color picker. But I don't feel like doing that right now because I don't know, I'm doing it this way. So what did I say it was? 255, 231, and 186. There we go. So actually, if you've ever wondered, if you didn't know how color sets works, that's how they work. They are just RGB values that you can manipulate, and you could literally create your own color set today. It's just a text file. This is just a text file, and it's RGB and then the alpha channel, and it's either 255 or not, you know. So like if you want, and then you can even comment, it looks like, so you can actually see, so you can even comment the colors. So yeah, see, he called that one tan, and it's like, I guess that is tan, but like I would consider that more of a light tan, but I guess that's tan. Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, so I'm using that color. So I'm going to take these colors out of my thing, and I'm going to export that real quick too. Call it... Oh, wait, because... Oh, when I do it as a... Oh, wait, yeah, no, I forgot. Okay, so I can't make this a brick, can I? Because if I make it a brick, it'll lose its special colors. Because it's going to be... if it's a brick, it's just going to be recolorable. So it's like I can't have the brick be multiple colors, but I can... How does the... That's the question then. How does the window brick do it, for example? Let's look at that BLB. I guess... Yeah, see, I don't know how to read BLB code. Frame, bottom, top, west side, east side. Texture. I guess it does. Oh, so it's... You know what? It can have textures, can't it? Because it's using... It says text side. So I think... I don't know. Let's try it. Again, it's been a while since I've done this, so let's see if it works. Who knows? But anyway, so let's start over here. So we're gonna need two materials, right? We're gonna need one called what did I call them? White tran, and we're gonna need another one, and I'm just gonna call it tan. And then, so, okay, so let's see here. So in my downloads, I should have white tran, and then I didn't make my tan. Tan, save. Okay. So in my downloads, I have these two colors. We're going to grab them. I'm going to go to my Blockland projects, because I think I already have an Isar folder. Isar Retaken. Yep, okay. New folder, Isar 2. And another new folder. We're just going to call this bricks. I don't know. And then another new folder. We're going to call this corner. And then hopefully this works the way I think it will. So anyway, I need these two right there. So, okay. So, let's do our white tran. So, open Blockland projects, Isar Retaken, Isar 2 corner, white tran, open. And then, okay, so there is a transparency, and I think it's just set to Z transparency, and that will tell the exporter the torque properties, because it is an additive, it's not a subtractive. Yeah, I think that will tell it to be transparent in torque. And then something I like to do is to just change it to shadeless for a second so that the viewport looks correct. But that one's not going to look right because the transparency doesn't necessarily look right. So same thing, tan, open, and then again, I turn it shadeless for just a second so that it looks right in the viewport. So now, I think everything is currently that. So I need this. Oops. I need all of that. And I guess that too. Yep. I need all of that to be tan. So there's our corner, right? So that's what we're looking at. So then again, okay, so I'm going to take it, scale it to half of its own size. I'm going to place it here and here. So that's where I think the center of the brick should be. And then I'm going to apply all of them, just location, rotation, and scale. And yeah, so this is my brick, presumably. Now, I don't know, I think there's a way, I don't know if I did it correctly, studs, you need to do something special for studs. But the thing is, I don't care, because this is, when I do get it out, this is going to just be at the top of the building, so it's very unlikely that anyone's going to see it other than as a detail. So, okay, let's see if I did this correctly. So we're going to actually export this. Normally, I'd export it as a DTS, which I'm actually, you know what? I am still going to export it as a DTS because this might not work the way I want it to. So I'm going to call it corner.dts, because if it doesn't work the way I want it to, then I will make 4 of these. Because I think, I'll figure it out. I think I know what I'm doing. But then, okay, I'm also going to export an OBJ, also called corner. Export that. So let's see. So here's my corner. Let's go back to the downloads folder. Not that one, this one. Let me grab my BLB converter, pull it into here, and I'm pretty sure I just do this. Yeah. Corner.blb. Okay, so now I think it's going to apply the side texture, and I think even apply the top texture correctly too, because I think it does it all itself, right? Or did it make any of these top? Okay, it didn't make any of them top, but that's fine. I don't really care. It's, yeah, OmniQuads 25. So yeah, I think this worked. Probably will matter if you want it to be public. Ah, that's true. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works. So let's see. Okay, so now let me remind myself how a brick works. Let's just pick up any old brick here. So I'm gonna need oh, right. Does every brick have a collision? I don't think so. No. Okay. I'm going to need a name check. And I'm going to need a server and a description. So I'm going to copy all of those. And I'm going to need an icon. So my icon, I don't know. My icon can look like whatever. In fact, my icon, you know what? No, I don't need an icon. It can be a question mark. I don't care. So let's see. What do I need in this server? So server.cs data block. Oh man, I forget. I don't forget, but it's like I only need one. And I don't even need an icon, so I am going to get rid of it. Brick file, we're going to call it corner. Category, I want it to be in, well, bricks, yeah, and subcategory is wedges, I think. Because it is technically a wedge. Let me look at the wedges, too, and see what they look like. So this is one of those things where it's like, again, I learned how to do a lot of different stuff just out of necessity. So yeah, wedge, oh yeah, wedge, and then subcategory ramps. Okay, so no, I do want this to be in wedges. And subcategory, I guess, special. I don't know. Was how to make it, making print bricks. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I know how to do the basics, but I don't know how to do all sorts of stuff. So subcategory, I guess this is a ramp, isn't it? So we'll put it in wedges ramps. And then UI name, we're just calling it corner. We might even, you know what? We might even just call it Isar corner. And it's corner.blb. And I think that is, oops. Corner data. I think that's all I need. Yeah? If I did it right, I think that's all I need. And so then real quick, name check, brick. Call it Isar corner. Save. And then now, so description, whatever. Isar corner, author Swoholy, a corner for the Isar tower. I don't know. I know that's not a necessity, but again, like you said, if it does get released in whatever reason officially, all right, I need this. I think I might need these. I'm going to include them just in case. I don't know if I need them. Probably because I do because they're textures, but whatever, just to be safe. I don't know if it'll work. I am worried that I'm doing something wrong, but alright. And then what did I name check it? Isar corner. Okay, yep. So we're going to rename this brick Isar corner. Okay, copy. Put it in my add-ons library. Okay, so then I think I saved the bricks already, but I'll do it again just to be safe. Oops. I do. Alright, I'm going to quit the game and restart it so that it will load my brick, presumably. Again, there's probably people at home who are watching this now on recording who are like, who do know how to make add-ons and are like, you did this all wrong. And it's like, maybe I did. I don't know. But anyway, let's see if I did it right or not. Brick. It'll be under Isar corner. Okay, at least it's showing up in the list. That's always a good sign. That means I didn't break it too bad when it shows up on the list. That's my worst fucking nightmare when I'm making something and it's working, and then I make one change and I go back into the game and now it's not on the list anymore. And it's like, no, what did I break? TorqueScript is just like that. Torque engine, like the game engine is like, it's just, that's just what happens, you know? It's not the best. It's why this game is so old now. It's why this game is like the bar of entry into creating content for it is so difficult, and I understand why. All right, let's moment of truth. Wedges, ramps, Isar. Oh no. Yeah, that didn't work. I was afraid of that. Oh, okay. I thought I did my rotations correctly. I applied the rotation and whatnot. And the scale's not right either. Look how small it is. Like, that's supposed to be... Yeah, okay, I didn't do that right. And that sucks. So, whatever. Alright, and it would have been the wrong color anyway, so I was right. The colors didn't. It made it all recolorable. Using torque is like building a house of cards. Correct. I agree. Alright, so... Okay, so that didn't work the way I wanted it to. That's fine. I don't need that to be like that. So there's another way we can do this. And that is going to be... I'm going to show you all of my behind-the-scenes secrets. Going into... Well, alright, I'll just pull up the pod racers, for example. Not this pod racer. Is that this pod racer? Why, it is. Yeah, okay. So this is the code that Conan gave me. Actually, I don't even need this much code. But this is the code that he gave me that he was using for, if you've ever seen his mini golfing or whatever, I think it was, server, and he has a windmill, and the windmill has a rotating, blades on it. And this is what he showed me how to do it. So I'm going to use it without animating it because I don't need this to be an animatable object. But I just need it to show up as a thing. So my thinking is, I'm thinking if I make this an item, I should still be able to rotate the item based on the direction of the item, like north, south, west, all that. So I'm thinking I can still get it because I'll have all the whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, directions. So yeah, okay, and then obviously I had to mount script on it too because the pod racer. Maybe I'm not, you know what, let's not use the pod racer as my base because that's going to get me confused. I specifically need some, let me go into episode 3 and let me pull up models, sets, and then here we go, the Senate chamber will be perfect. So yeah, let's take this code right here, and we're gonna delete that. I don't need that anymore. So I was right to make a DTS because I knew I was gonna maybe need this. So let's pull up this server, and we're gonna rename all of this, and we're gonna call that corner DTS, and the UI name is going to be Isar to corner, and it's a prop, and we're going to call it corner prop. On add object is prop, can pick up is false, play 0 animations. Yep, that looks right. And there is a way I could go into this and I could add a collision shape. I don't really care if the player can clip through it. That doesn't bother me, because again, it's just a detail, and most of this is going to be for the sake of movie making. So a lot of the time, I do stuff like that. All right. So anyway, so we're gonna actually change this from brick to item, or prop. You can make it whatever. Like it can be whatever. But we're gonna make it an item, and then we're gonna include all of this stuff. We don't need the OBJ and the MTL, and we don't need the BLB anymore. But we're going to put this in its own zip, and then we call it item Isar corner, right? That's what I called it? Yep, okay, Isar corner. So now let's copy that, put that into our add-ons folder, and see what happens. And hopefully that looks good. Yeah, torque is like, but like talking about that though, like torque is like, I mean, it's a challenge. So it's like if you like problem solving, like if that's something that your brain is like giddy to do, like yes, torque presents you with so many problems that you get to solve. But there's also this like, it can be, here we go, Isar corner, cool. It can be sort of complex in a way that it's like, there's so many puzzle pieces to try to fit together to get it to work. And I don't know, it's not my favorite engine to work in. I like working in it, don't get me wrong. I used to use like Torque 3D to like try to learn and teach myself. Like, there's a lot about this engine that is cool. And for what it was doing at the time, being as accessible an engine as it was, like it was cool. But like, I mean, nowadays, like if I'm going to do any video gaming, like programming myself, I use, excuse me, I use like the Godot engine. That's more my like speed. But yeah, okay, let's moment of truth this one. Let's see if this worked. So item, Isar, corner. Okay. So that works. It centered it out, which is fine. And then obviously the transparency isn't the same, but this is doable. This is doable, right? So, okay, so let's load. Oh, wait. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to try. Can I change the directions? East. Yes. Okay. So this is going to work. This is going to work. That transparency is super bright, but I'm also working in an environment that's super bright. So we're going to, yeah. But anyway, let's load our bricks. Oh, I can switch back to, this should have, no, yep, there it went. Okay. Switch back to that. Let's load up Isar 2. So yeah, you're getting a true behind the scenes sneak peek as to how I do shit. And then now, we gotta find, so this was 14, right? So we gotta find what the middle one would be. So I guess 7. So, I want my pointer, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So presumably this hole right there, or around it, obviously that's not gonna work because that's not gonna let me build anything there. So what am I gonna do? I guess I could do, well, for the sake of real quick before because I'm thinking about probably just sending up a thing. Actually, you know what, yeah, let's just do that. Alright. Whee. And then, oh man, I am gonna have to. Okay. But, there. Okay. So it's in there. So, and then I want it to be the same transparency. Alright, presumably I might have built too high. Yes, I did. That's okay. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to have to do that. Oh my god. There we go. So I'm going to have to do that for all of these, but that's okay. And then now I can put it right here. Isar corner. It's the wrong direction, so let's just... There. Oh. Okay. What happened there? How did that happen? I thought I did my calculations correct. And also, is it... So, see, it's a little off. Okay, I think that I know how to fix that, though. So, because I think I know what I did. Sorry, I don't have the chat. There we go. So I think I know what I did. So actually, we just need to go over 1, I believe. I'm just gonna, oh man, I'm gonna have to, alright, whatever. God, I can't, I can't see what everything is, because it's the weird transparency. There it is. Alright, for now, so I can see it. Ugh. Okay. There. We'll come back and fix these in a second. Am I still... Yeah, okay. So now... This one does not need... Ah, okay, so it's still off. Alright, I didn't get my exact... but that's okay. I think I can fix it. But you get the idea. So, let's see, it's 6:30. I don't remember how long I was, like, thinking of doing this. But anyway, you get the idea, so it's almost perfect. That's kind of... That'll look better, I think, than trying to build that out of bricks anyway. Because that'll give me... That'll actually get... And then again, it'll be... This is how far away you'll be from it. But you see what I mean? Like, you can see that... I don't like that being different than the rest of it. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. But that at least gives us a, at least for right now, for what we're doing, that at least gives us a point. And I can fix it and do the, like, the real wiggle waggles of, like, getting it to fit correctly later. But anyway, so let's, for now, let's paint these all the correct color again. And give ourselves another wedge. There. So, yeah. So, that's not, and again, it's not too bad. I'll have to figure it out. Glowing windows. Yeah, I know. I could do these. I think, I wonder, it's probably, it's the way I did the, you know what it is? I think it is. It's the when I checked additive. I think I need to be subtractive. Not this one. Hold on. Wait. I think it needs to be subtractive because let me see. Yeah, because additive makes black transparent, whereas subtractive makes white transparent. And so I think subtractive will allow that color to not be so fucking bright. And it will look closer to how this looks. So you know what? Actually, yeah, why not? While we're here, I'll save these bricks again. Because we're going to keep using this add-on still. Real quick. Let's just try it. Let's just see where we're at. This one. So, real quick, let's leave the game for a second. So let's figure out A. So I've set that to subtractive, not additive. So we're going to try subtractive and see if that works. And B, so it put the brick, it put it right smack dab, all right, hold on, where I didn't want it. So I wonder if maybe, I don't even know if I have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I actually don't know if, location, rotation, scale, all of it. I don't know if I have a choice, but I mean, I'm going to try by reorienting it to a corner there so that its 0 point is correct. And also I'm looking, when I was looking at this, I did that loop cut incorrectly. So I need to fix that too. So real quick, how can I... I just need to clean up this loop. What? Oh. So, real quick. So, just so I can see what the original brick would have looked like. Yeah, so there we go. So you can see where that should be. And so, boop. Now I can see the chat again. I hate when I do that too. So, no, hold on. I think here, and then I think cut that in half. Yep. Right? That is right. I think that's a perfect... Yeah, that is the perfect angle. So yeah, that's where the cut needs to be. To actually line up and be a brick. So let's get rid of these vertices because I don't need them anymore. This is still necessary. This is still necessary. This is still necessary. And this is still necessary. Yep. There we go. And then now I need to cut that in half right there. And then that needs to be where the faces go. There we go. And then this, we're going to make that a face, but it's not going to be tan. Yeah, it's going to be that. So that should now be exactly lined up. But, again, I'm hoping that the item, I'm hoping that I did that right by moving it to where I did and applying all of the transformations to it, that will get it to stay where I want it to stay. Because it's obviously going to, the way it does the bounding box when I export it is I'm pretty sure it's going to, you know what, I could add stud textures and everything to this, but I don't necessarily want to. So let's save this actually too. I just realized I didn't even save it. Isar Retaken, Isar 2 bricks corner. I'm going to call that corner.blend, so that way I still have the base file in case I lose it. Okay, so finally then, let's export our DTS again. Export. So now something funny that my personal Windows, you'll notice I do have my Activate Windows, but obviously this is Windows 10 that I've had installed for 15 years now or whatever, whenever I first installed Windows 10. A little less, like 12 years or whatever. But anyway, for some reason, my Windows gets confused if I just drag and drop something into a zip file. Even though you should be able to copy and replace and make it new, I have to delete it, or else it can completely it'll completely destroy my zip file. Now this still works. I can still just copy and replace there. Doesn't break the zip file, but dragging and dropping a new file to copy and replace for some fucking reason, my Windows just doesn't like that. So, alright, let's see if I did that right this time. Before we go back to full screen Blockland. Because if I have to make any changes, obviously. 640. So I was thinking of going until about 8. Because when I started at 4. So I'm trying to do these streams. I'm trying to do these streams for about 4 hours. So I'm thinking like 4 to 8 on Sundays is probably, maybe a little early, maybe 3 to 7. I don't know. You know, I'm thinking of doing these streams once a week. Just because I'd like to get a chance to talk to the community and everybody gets to talk to me and I don't know. And eventually, yes, I would like to have more of you on to actually voice chat with me, so it's not just me talking for however long I'm talking for, but also to just, I don't know. It's still there. I'd like to get into streaming more. It's not something I ever felt like I was very good at, mostly because I have a problem with sometimes filling the silence. I've not been too bad these last 2 streams. I've been able to, articulate enough where I feel like I have something to say and something to talk about. But, there's times where if I get really tired, especially, and obviously if I'm that tired, I just probably would say, hey, no stream today. But, I don't know. I feel like, and also, too, I feel like I want to do some streaming over on my main channel. Because, if I am going to go the route of, taking advantage of any of the political momentum I have in that realm, because that's where people are looking for me too, I could do commentary that way. So I'd like to kind of cut my chops, I guess, by doing Blockland stuff. So yeah, so I think we're gonna go till about 8 Eastern Standard. So we got about another hour. I am gonna probably, I can feel my bladder right now. I'm gonna have to go pee here in just a second. Woo! Okay, that didn't do it the way I thought it would either, but well, no, that's better. That might be right, actually, but that's still too dark, isn't it? So, I don't know. But, did it line up with the... No, it still isn't lined up with the... Why won't you line up to the grid? That, and I know it's because it's trying to center it, but god damn it does that make me annoyed. And I don't know how to fix that. Other than... that's the thing. It's yeah, the position... This is going to happen no matter what, so nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's true. Silence is going to happen. Yeah, that's true, I guess. You're right. North. Can I do it like that? Oh. No, see, that still doesn't line up to the grid. Why are you half off the grid? It's so close to being correct, and it's not right. Ooh, that drives me crazy. I hate when things aren't the way they should be. Alright, whatever. Whatever. Alright, well, let's see what, when we load the bricks, let's see what happens. Okay. So, alright, yeah, so, that's not the right color. But, maybe... Oh, what the fuck? That's darker than still. Alright. Well, I thought maybe additive would work. I could make it a darker color. And then, like I said, if it's not going to line up to the grid right... See, this is what I mean. Look at this. So it's almost perfect. It's on that half point. And for whatever reason, because of the way that the DTS exporter works, is it finds the middle point here and just finds the average or whatever. So I guess it's like as if I set the origin to geometry. Well, that's where Blender says it should be, but you know what I mean. Like, it sets the average and then puts it just wrong, and I don't know how to fix that, because that's the thing. The theory, based on what I'm looking at here, is it's like I should be able to just move it, right? I should be able to move it down and to the left or whatever. Like, how do I have that? Like, if this is how I'm looking at it. Whatever. We'll do it in perspection. So it's like if that's how I'm looking at it. Theoretically, down and to the left would be so up the Y and up the up Y up. So yeah, down and to the left would be this. Maybe that's what I need to do. Will that actually do it? I don't know. See, I've tried other methods where I've added like geometry that's flipped so that you can't actually see the face, and I don't know if that'll work in this instance. I don't know if this will work. I don't know. I guess it's worth a shot. Let's see what happens. DTS exporter finding a point is like a captain without a compass or a watch. Just does a lot of dead reckoning. Yeah, basically. That's true. All right, let's see what happens. So, okay, and also I realized, so additive and was not what I thought it would end up being. So, I forget what the third one is. It just says none, and it says, I don't know how to explain this. Try it yourself. I love that. So, you know what? I am going to try none. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe that is the, that will just give me the transport, or the transparency as I have it set. Maybe that'll do it right. So, I don't know. We're going to try this real quick. So again, Isar corner. I have to delete the corner. Pop it in there. Make sure that I didn't break the zip file. Because again, my Windows is so old, or whatever, it'll just break the zip file from time to time. And we'll restart Blockland. See what it does. Oh, you know what? I am going to take this time real quick to go pee while we wait. So I am just going to quick to the stream start. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so yeah, start a game. Make sure my corner didn't break. Item. Isar corner, perfect. Alright, let's go. I'm hoping that this actually did it. Presumably. But that's the thing, I have no idea if it won't still just center the item exactly where it did before. So, you know, we'll see. But presumably I did it right this time. Nogston. You know what's funny is, like, I have a bunch of Steam friends from, you know, back in the day, because I've had a Steam account since at least 2006 or 2007. Whenever the orange box came out, that's the very first Steam game I bought, so that I would have Half-Life, Team Fortress, all of that. But I have Steam friends from back in the day who have obviously changed their names. We're still friends, but they've changed their names. And I only know them or knew them by the username that I friended them at the time. So it's like half of my friends list are like, who are you? I don't know who you are. Okay, did it work? I can't tell. It looks like it might have worked. No. It is still, in fact, it might even be worse now. Well, no, I guess that doesn't mean anything, does it? No. So, see, okay, so there you go. I was closer now, so I've fixed it a little bit. How do I get it? So where do I need to go now? All right, let's load the bricks and we'll do it again, because that actually seems like it might have done. And and then by selecting none, I have gotten rid of the alpha channel entirely. So that didn't work either. So still learning, or not learning, still figuring it out as I go. Did we get... See, look. We're still... So it didn't actually matter at all, did it? We're still at the exact same spot that we were. And there is no way to make it move a half spot. It drives me crazy. Because I don't know why lining it up to the grid in Blender doesn't line it up to the grid in Blockland. Alright, whatever. This is not a problem I really feel like I need to spend a whole lot of time on right this second anyway. In fact, I might end up deciding not to do this entirely and still just build it out of bricks and just find a different way of doing it. So, yeah, that was just something I was going to try to work. I thought if I could just do it like that and then boom, we'd be done. But did not boom. So, alright, well, we'll go back into Blockland full screen at least. So... What time is it now? It's 6:51. Yes, we still got an hour, so. Alrighty. Forgot to pull the chat. I have a long friend list, but I have no idea who they are anymore. Yep, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I have a really long friend list too. I don't have any idea. Alright, well, okay. So, we can worry about, you know what? I can even just right now. Because here's the thing. I also thought about it. I don't have to do it with wedge bricks. You know what I mean? I could do it the way that Icy did it and just make it be like straight up bricks. And then, if I do it that way, I can line up the existing 45-degree ramps. Oops, didn't mean to delete that. And I can just do it that way. So maybe that is how I'll do it. I thought I was going to get fancy and try to do it like that. Didn't work the way I wanted it to, so, you know, no big deal. We didn't lose that much time working on it. And it was a look into a process of how I like to do stuff, so. Alrighty. Alright, so I was working on the lobby, though. That was the thing we were trying to get done. So I guess the first thing that we can figure out, then, is how do we want to do the window pattern? So the way that Icy did his windows, obviously, was just, you know, they were, you know, just big holes, basically. And he had them all evented, too. And I kind of want to, since I'm doing this now, and I have the chance of, like, you know, getting to do stuff with hindsight, because when I started building this, smaller pieces and add them up to bricks would work better. Yeah, probably. Like a stud or two. Yeah, there's a way to do it. But, okay, anyway, so this facade, the way Icy did the facade is he had everything kind of be bumpy like that. I like that. We're going to keep that motif. But anyway, what I was saying was, when I did this, the first way I did it, and you can see how I left every window open. And the reason I did that was because I knew I was going to add, eventually, oh, wow, did I have events on this already? I was going to add events to... Is this the lights? Oh, yeah. Look at that. So I had the lights set, and I don't know what the... Oh, the door! I forgot I let it... So that the person behind the desk could open the door as guests come in. I thought that was a clever, but yeah, and turn the lights on and off. I wanted to event it though, so that because the way Icy had it was his windows were tintable. Because I've read it in his forum topic, because he did include like logs as he was building stuff. So he had the windows be tintable, so they were completely evented. So I was going to leave them open so that I could just build the window and then name the window. And in fact, I might still do that. I might leave the windows open and then name the window something later and then duplicate it so that they all have the same name so that I can event them. But anyway, so how do I want to do this corner? So I am going to pull up my reference photos real quick. Okay. So, I think... So let's look at the outside of a tower real quick. What does the outside of a tower look like? Modern skyscraper tower. So obviously, yeah, it looks like, I mean, they're just, they're wall-to-wall windows, most of them. It's just windows all the way through. With like a, full glass facade. So I don't want to necessarily do that, because I feel like that might be too many windows. Hi, baby. You're on my lap, but, yeah, if you're going to make noise, you're not going to be able to hang out. Yeah, what are you doing? You already ate. I fed you before the stream so you wouldn't bother me, but you're bothering me anyway. Let's think. I'm not an architect by any means, so I don't want to necessarily stray too far away from Icy's original thing. So it does look like, yeah, it looks like it's windows and then a facade. And then the facade is, and since we're going to be basing it off Icy's original design, I guess the facade can just be, you know, this thing. So I am going to do it 2 times bigger. So let's see, what do we want that to look like? So I think the floor... So here's the question I need to ask. How big is an IcyGamma floor? It's about 2 of these tall. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go one more then, since I have all of this fucking space. And I am going to make a floor be... Oh, or maybe I could even double it. Yeah, you know what? Let's double it, especially at least here in the lobby. Because we can make it 3 high or whatever later, but like I think in the lobby... I think we should have a tall ceilinged lobby. I think that will... Because then I can hang chandeliers and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, so okay. She did a little biscuits and then now she's just sitting in my lap. I don't think you can see her. I just think this is funny. Real quick. You can just see. She's just like, hey, I'm hanging out. I want to be part of the stream, I guess. So, yeah, let me make sure I didn't mess that up. Okay, cool, yeah. So anyway. Oh, look. He's out there. I didn't know I had one built. Well, whatever. Alright, so I'm thinking like, yeah, yay big. So then the question becomes, so how do I want to do all of this stuff? Because I don't have bigger doors or anything. Creature. She's a creature. She's a little creature. Okay. I'm looking at Icy's stuff. And also, you know what, thinking about it now, it looks like I would want to build this on a base plate so that I can... Now my dog is down here too. Like everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You guys already ate. I fed you before the stream so you would not be bothered." But now my dog and my cat are both like, "Hey, hang out with us." And it's like, "Okay, I will hang out with you. You can sit on my lap." But anyway, I think I'm going to put this on a base plate too, so that this will be easier to duplicate later. And I also am thinking, so now that I've got my base plate in the right corner, I can mess around with the facade here and make it so it looks the way I want it to look. Let me look real quick too. I'm gonna look up Lego. I'm gonna look up a Lego building and see what some other builders are doing. Lego building, modern sky. I know you can't see my screen, but this is for my reference. Lego building, modern skyscraper. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I think that's how I think that's how I want to do it. Okay, I think I understand. I have an idea. So we're gonna do some windows. So I'm thinking this. So just bear with me. This is my idea. Oops. And I'm gonna leave that corner open because I do want it to tie into the glass on the side. But I'm thinking, so Icy's original idea was he did ramps, right? And he did them like this. He did these and these. I would like, since I'm making mine doubly as tall, I'm going to include a straighter section here so that when we get to the top, we get something like that. And so it's kind of hard to see. Let me put a light on it so you can see. And so then I'm thinking, and for the lobby, we go with really tall we go with really tall windows, right? So, and they can look something like, okay, let me think. I gotta do this. Maybe I should use real windows. I think I'm gonna use actual window bricks. Are those in special? Yeah. I have all of the Windows add-ons as well, so let me see where those are. There they are. So those are the slanted, those are those. Tinted window, clean window, one-way window. I guess I just want the normal window, don't I? I thought I had a bigger window or something, but... yeah, I guess I just want the regular window. Okay. That's okay. And I'm thinking, here's my thought. Something like this? Like, does that look good? Or does that look silly? It doesn't look too bad. It's got some nice angles to it. And then, so then I'm thinking, before we go and make the facade again, like something like this. So it's kind of got like a skyscraper-y look to it. Something like that. And then that's like the basis of our tower. I think that looks pretty good. Because Icy didn't use Windows bricks. He used his own. And I will as I build upward, probably make more custom holes like that. But you know, that's the thing though. These aren't necessarily tintable, are they? No, yeah. So that's the one thing we lose with that. So okay. So then maybe I do want to make these bricks myself. Okay. So that means, so how do I want to do that? So I like the space I've given myself here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I want a 1x8. And I want it in tan. And then I want to... oh yeah, okay, I want 1x5 as the like frame of the window, which will only be visible from the edge of the window, obviously, because I think I'm also going to I'll build a facade inside here so that will act as the wall, so that the innards will be you know. And then so then I'm thinking, so now I'm doing it like this, right? So I'm thinking, let's pull up what did I say these were? 8. So I'll probably have to do 4, because I don't think there is a 8. So I'll have to do 4. I want the glass to look like that. And you know what? Oh, whoops. Why did it... Shouldn't that be visible? Oh, is it visible and I'm just... Oh, I'm not. Okay, yeah, it is there. So here's what I'm thinking. And then I was going to name all of these window. So I will just do that real quick too. And that way everything will be controllable. And then I was thinking... So before I go up any higher... Well, no, maybe I should go to see what my space... See what my space is. Remember the scaffolding add-on? I missed the scaffolding add-on. Because how many bricks tall? Obviously, I would be 1, and then 2. Pull up a 1 by 4. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking... Here we go. Let me do it down here so I can actually see. So 1, 2, 3. So actually... well, I don't even know what that'll look like. This might work the way I think it will, if I'm doing my math right. Did I do my math right? Yeah, it's not too bad. I was thinking of just as a little bit of, just to break it up so it's not one giant continuous window. Something like that. So it's like a tall window with a short window. And then make sure the names are all window. And then, yeah, so something like that. And then... should just... So then do I do like this? Wait, what did that do? How did that? No, I don't like that. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I want these to overlap. So like that. Uh-oh. Oops. There we go. I'll do that for each of these. But yeah. Oh. Oh no. Of course. That means I'm not. Why would that? Oh, because I'm doing it like that. Ah, nuts. Alright. I wanted these to be even. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, you know what? So Icy, he mixes the two. So I am going to mix the two at the end here. Just so that it fits my, the scale, or, well, you know what I mean. It fits the math I've got going on here. Whoa. Because I think... Sorry if you heard the noise, I bumped the microphone. I think if I do it like that, because I do have these set, because I knew I was going to maybe use them anyway, I think I can get away with... so I need a 2x2, or 1x2x5. Something like that. And then throw... Where did it go? I had it. I guess it got lost in the... Oh well. Rimps. And then one of these, up like that. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking as like for the facade at the base of the tower. And then that should be something I can easily duplicate. And because let's see if I did it. Probably not, right? Yeah. I might have to redo the corners. Because what's our... Because if we're... Because if that lines up with that... Yeah, that's not going to work the way I want it to, huh? That's okay. Alright, let me think for a second. So I'm going to get rid of these for a second. I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to duplicate this. Move it over. And then I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to pull back out a base plate. Line it back up. And then I'm going to take this, put that back, and now, how do I want to do the corners then, right? So, it's going to mess me up if I can see both of them at the same time. Okay. So, if I'm pretending that that is also going to be 2 like the rest of them, that leaves me with a space in between and a space in between, huh? So, will that... No, okay. Whoop. Please don't delete my selections. That would make me very sad. So, I think I should... This is okay. So this is where my abilities as a builder get tested, because then it's like I want maybe to make this. Should I make? Oh wait, I can make these corners, couldn't I? So if I did it like that, like so, let's just assume I did this, and then I made that a corner. What is that gonna look like? How many spaces? That leaves me with 2 over here, which could be. All right, so let's clear that for a second. Let's see what the corners would look like. Right? So, yeah, okay, now... Oh, yeah, okay, hang on. This might be what I want. Ramps. Find my corners that I was using. Here we go. This corner and this corner. Because I know I was leaving it... I know I said I was leaving it to connect to the glass, but it doesn't have to, you know? Or it could, I guess, and it's like I could just do this, and have it literally be like that. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what I do. Let's see what that looks like for a second, because then I could also throw. Well, no, I won't be able to use the corners anymore, but I could still use like these. You know what I mean? I could have that. But I don't like that. I don't like that no more. But the corners are going to be connected to glass, so maybe those are fine. Let's leave them like that for a second. Let's see if that makes it easier to duplicate. Because that's the goal, right? Aha. Right. Okay. So now. Oh no, that's not right. Okay. Or, oh, wait, no. Is that just not right because it's not lined up, or is that not right because... I'm trying to do the least amount of, like, by hand work that I have to do. I want to make it... Because all of the parts that are duplicatable... Because obviously this is a building where there's going to be a lot of duplicatable parts. So I want to be able to... Oh, I mean, yeah. I could definitely... I could get builders in here. Man, my brain just doesn't want to do the math right now. That's the thing. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. So this is my corner piece. So yeah, so I guess... They already... Yeah, I do have one. Okay, so I guess... Something like this is kind of more what I'm looking at. To leave that corner open. So that the tower glass will... You know, work out right. So I'm thinking that's probably what I want. Which means I guess I could... I didn't think about this. Hold on. Ugh. I know I could just wand these things, but I don't want to accidentally break my whole business. So start from scratch again. Bricadia, I mean, I don't know. Bricadia is not something that I'm going to say, like, no to forever. It's more of the fact that it's, like... I am specifically interested in working in Blockland, mostly because that's where I, like, know it the best. I have the most skill sets already built up. And it's just, you know, the building engine is what I already am aware of. But I do think that eventually I would like to get into Bricadia as a thing. I think that would be worth my time. But also, like, I don't know, yeah, building Isar 2 in Bricadia would be funny. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that Bricadia is capable of loading in Blockland saves, correct? I believe. If I remember the last time I played Bricadia, that was something you could do. So I could just build it all in Blockland and then export it over later. I don't know. So, oh, okay, let me fix this too while I'm at it. All right, I am gonna wand this. I think I can trust myself to not click. Yeah, okay. And just because I'm lazy, and this will make my life easier. There. Okay. So this is where I'm at, and now I have 2. So what happens if we do this? You can comment Blockland saves to Bricadia. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Bricadia doesn't have any mod support, and I understand that that's like a lot of people's, you know, hang-ups about it, and so I understand that, and I feel the same. It's like if mod support was there, I'd be more willing and more able to probably move over to that. So where are we? Would we? Oh, I need to create a mirror. Oh, that's what I need to be doing. I forgot about this. All right, how do I? It's in my controls. The new duplicator. I need a mirror. I need a. Okay, here we go. So mirror. I think I need mirror X. Yeah, go ahead and create a symmetry table. Watch, I'm wrong, and I need Y. Oh, you can auto-generate a Blender model? That's neat. Alright. Let's see. Ah! Okay, I was right. Neat. I'm glad when I get something right from the very first try. There we go. Okay, that's what I think I was failing to do, right? Because now that should line up. I should. Yeah, there we go. And there's my corner. So now I can build out my corners. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Alright, yeah, I think we're doing good here. So, alright, I'm going to leave myself some guides here. I guess I don't have to get really fancy, do I? No, I don't even need to do that. I'm going to leave myself a guide brick. And say, here's the corner. And now, when I duplicate this base plate and rotate it, I should be able to... Whoa, what? Oh, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, someone just uses an auto-generator to make a one-to-one recreation from a Blender. Yeah, all right. I guess that is what you get that benefit from that. Okay, yeah. So that looks like that should work pretty good, right? Whoa! I always miss my fucking. So we're at. This is yeah. I'm already 100% more pleased. Again, you know, and this is me no shade to Icy. It's just that if I am gonna remake the Taking of Isar Tower as a new series, because it's lost media and I want it to exist again. If I am gonna remake it, I need way more space to actually like shoot something legitimate. So this is already, I can tell, this is way more space, and there's where the door can go. So that's cool. And yeah, obviously already I can tell there's way more space, but you know what I mean. Already you can see like what it is I'm trying to achieve by making it this big. So let's go ahead and just mark the corners of all of these. And then now yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, and I mean that's the thing. If I was doing this as just a machinima, yes, that is exactly what I could do. I really could just make it like there's a miniature, and then I just, you know, the interior shots are something different, which is how I do Block Wars and stuff, obviously. The only reason I'm actually building this to full scale is because I'm also kind of thinking about doing it in the same way. I liked how IcyGamma like wanted to roleplay in his building, and I kind of want to like give people that option to do it, I guess. So it's like I could just do it all with special effects, and I'm not saying or with editing or whatever. So it's like, yeah, what you're saying is absolutely valid. I think it's more that it's just I want this to be a functional build as well, so that even if I don't actually end up doing but even if I don't actually end up doing the Machinima series, I would still like this to be like a functional build that we can use to actually still put stuff in it. So I am building a little bit for that reason. Also, I really cannot stand whatever environment. I'm assuming it's the default. I cannot stand whatever environment I'm in right now. It's driving me crazy. Let's go back to slate. Space, that's too dark. Desert's not bad. I think slate. I like the slate, the old slate background. Nope, that's too bright as fuck. Alright, this is better. Doesn't hurt my eyes as much. But yeah, okay. So now the question becomes, what are we gonna do on the side here? So we gotta keep our facade going. So I'm presumably still within. I'm doing this evenly. So, So here's where I think I can. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should turn shaders and shadows off. Oh, that it. Yep, that helps. And it's also obviously it makes it feel very, very nostalgic because this is, you know. This is how I remember the game looking anyway. So, okay, yeah. I do. I think that is probably the better way to build, isn't it? Alrighty. Let me think here. So... Anyway, so what I was trying to say was, like, right there where I have that space, I'm thinking that's where it looked like Icy used to do, you know, he did this kind of Greeblin Majing. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave that as its own space. Like that. And actually, I think I am going to do that as a 1x3 by 5. Gotta turn the ground off. Yeah, you're right. Why not? While we're at it. Ground. Blank. There we go. Here we go. There we go. Now we're doing it. Now we're doing it old school. And I believe most of the builds that I used to do back in the day would have been in slate. It was always slate or construct. For some reason, like building in an all-white void was like made my brain happy. I don't know, but yes, now I really feel like I'm back in the olden days. But yeah, so I'm thinking like, yeah, just doing this, doing a 1x3 or a 1x3x5, so that I get that 1x2 spot there. And now we're gonna have to do it. Well, I guess we could still cheat and use the duplicator a little bit here, can't we? I think. Oops. Yeah, my first building was, I think, also on Slate. But also, like I said, we used Construct a lot. At least my friends and I did. And I don't know why Construct was something that we were so into. But how did I do that? Did I build it? Now I forget it. Now I forgot. Oh, you know what? That is why it was. I had that. So I do. Okay, hold on. I might have goofed myself here. So hold on. So if we are doing, boop, get rid of that for a second. If we are doing, this should be a 1, or it is 1. What am I doing here? Build on maps like Bedroom. Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of buildings on Bedroom too. Like I remember one of my very first builds was like a team deathmatch map that I built in Bedroom. And what I remember doing that I really liked was I had on the dresser, like up by the lamp and the clock, I had it where a whole like pathway would like bridge would stick out from the top, like it was balanced off of the dresser, and then I built a brick built chain that was holding a room, and that room was hanging from a chain, and from that room I put a sniper rifle. And then when we played with Team Deathmatch, we turned off, obviously, jets. So in order to get to that room, you had to get on this precarious, like, bridge that was maybe 2 bricks or 1 brick wide. So the idea was, in order to get to the sniper rifle and to get to the sniper's nest, in order to snipe anybody from the rest of the bedroom, you yourself were then vulnerable to any other attack. So I was something, I don't know, I'm not saying it was necessarily the greatest game design, but yeah, that was something I remember doing too. I loved building in Bedroom for what it's worth. Okay, I gotta think about how I want to do this now, don't I? What is my brain, this is where I get stuck sometimes, where my brain's like, what am I doing wrong? What have I forgotten? So each window is lined up like that. So let's select it all. And if we were to keep going with that, can we do that? No. So that's what I thought. Okay, so we can't just... okay, so maybe like that. That's doable. Okay. And then... right? Oh, okay, that doesn't look too bad, actually. Leaving that there, did I not? Yeah, okay. But now, I don't need it to be by 3, I can do a 4, so that it's actually even. For some reason, I mean, I know a 1x3x5 and any of the 3s, you know, are necessary in building with Legos, but, like, anytime there's an odd number, my brain just does not like it. So anytime I can get back to evens, makes me happier. Default BL saves that were removed after the maps were canned. Yeah, I think there were, because a lot of them needed to be on those maps in order to load correctly. Okay, so actually, yeah, I don't... God damn it, I keep missing. All right, I don't hate that at all, actually. That looks pretty good in terms of how I wanted it to look. And now it's definitely connected, but... yeah, it's all connected, so I'm going to have to, before I can fill them all in, because I want to be able to duplicate all of these, I am going to have to do it like this. But everything is at least even, or should be even, so that it should all fit. Right? Did I do that other one right? Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then, okay, there we go. And then obviously the front door. No, you know what? No, real quick, before I clear my selection, because I am going to build the front door out of that facade, so I should probably have the facade here as well. Because then, yeah, because I can put the front door right here, and bust out these windows. Are you really, what are you holding that the other one wasn't? I guess the whole structure then, huh? Yeah, I guess that whole structure, so that makes sense. Plan on beating RTB mod bot for most topics. I think if anyone can do that, Tony, I think it's going to be you. Alright, I'm going to fill that in real quick. Okay. So there we go. So here's our lobby. So already, again, you can already see. Little lobby, big lobby. And this is our front door. So I'm going to have to do... What am I going to have to do? So I need to figure out, so here, oh, you know what? Good point. Here's what I want to do. So I think what I want to do, I want the stairwell and eventually like the teleporter elevator to be in this center spot so that it runs up the entire center of the tower until you get to the top where you'll get to the Black Pearl, in which case I'm thinking that you'll get to this top floor and then there will be a secondary stairwell over here to get into the restaurant, because the restaurant will not have something running through the middle of it. The restaurant will be a full floor. But this way, I can actually set up, so the lobby will be this whole space, but when we get to the actual individual floors, since this little column will run up between it, I am going to have it be so that we can have walls and different stuff coming out from it, so there can be doorways, and so there can be different offices. So that way, too, if I want to have users to be able to create their own floors, like how Icy did, where he, like, everybody got an apartment floor, so to speak, where they got to decorate it however they wanted, I can actually have the same amount of space, give or take, but I can have 4 players per floor, so that you're not just stuck to, like, because obviously 1 player and 1 floor, that's a lot of space. They don't need all of that, but I can give you this whole, like, almost 64 by 64, like, space, and then I'm thinking probably this tall, like maybe not the 2 windows tall, but the rest of the floors will be this height, and so you'll have that whole space to yourself that you can still have, and then you can have a neighbor, so that you're actually sharing, like, and then if you work in an office, if I do make it where it's like, say we do put BLC, and then, like, I can have quote-unquote cubicles, you know, or whatever, I can have office floor space here. So this is, yeah, so that was kind of my thought process, was to eventually put the elevator and the stairwell and everything in here. So I am going to mark that off for myself as well, by both painting it and, oh, I want to do it like this, so, because I think that will get the, I think that will be, because then it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, then I need a 6. Oh, wait, no. I did that so that I could make a doorway be the 1 by 6. That's what I meant. How the elevators would work. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to have to be just teleporters, because I'm not going to bother to install, like, the elevator mod or whatever, because I do know that an elevator mod exists, but, like, I don't like how it works. It's not the most elegant system. So, yeah, I'm thinking probably just teleport bricks, like how I was doing it, how I was going to do it, rather, I should say. So, again, the way I had this elevator set up was going to be that you'd walk in, you'd open the door, there was a little menu here on the right that had buttons, and you would just click the button, and this brick teleports you to that floor, and then you get off, and then you're just teleported to the floor. So I think that's how I'm going to do it, just because that makes the most sense. And then this way, yeah, now there's this little doorway here, And I guess, well, you know what? No, I don't necessarily want the door to be right there, do I? So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe this could be the door to the stairwell, and this could be the door to the elevators. So, like, you walk in, and the elevator is right here. In fact, I could even expand this so there can be, like, 2 elevators so that more than one person can get teleported here. So that more than 2 people can actually get on the elevator at a time. And then this can just be the doorway to the stairwell, and it'll be, like, there'll just be a brick here in the middle. So let's just set that. What are we doing on time? 7:34. So yeah, got about 20 more minutes, and then I gotta go eat some dinner and you know, whatever else. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, that still fits. Cool. I know I could have just done a 2 by that, but I was thinking in my mind going, if I wanted this room to be a different color, because there might be a chance that the stairwell will be gray or whatever, so I don't know. So this is what I'm thinking. And then I can build stairs, and I think that's enough room to go upstairs. It might not be. Actually, truthfully, I might just have to make these elevators, which is fine. And then, and another thing I was thinking, so I built myself this, right? And I have this as hollow. Another thing I was thinking, so Icy had all of his, like, twin tower elevator room, which is a corridor with entrances face-to-face with a stairwell, yeah. I don't know. I can figure out what I gotta do with that. That's for later down the road, in a couple of days or whatever, when I'm actually doing it. Getting to that part. But anyway, so I left this hollow, and I'm thinking the reason I left this hollow is I'd like to be able to put, quote-unquote, I'm still wearing a Han Solo face, I'd like to be able to put, quote-unquote, like, the basement stuff down here. And what I mean by that is where if I do go so far, and I might even extend it and make it, like, lower, but if I do go so far as to recreate some of how Icy did the eventing, like, I would like to go so far as to create the generator, because he had a horse ray generator, and I mean, in his topic, he says it crushes ping pong balls. I did see this save. I loaded up his server at one point back in the day. I did see the original. I do remember it was just ping pong entities just, you know, bouncing around all over the place. So I know it didn't literally crush ping pong balls, but he claimed that was the power source. But anyway, if I were to go so far as to actually create the evented generators or whatever, I can put all of that stuff down here and wire it up. Like, so even if there's like a fake server room down here, or if there's a fake power generator, and then there's a fake, like, you know, whatever I've got running into this fake tower, that can all be quote-unquote wired up through the center, and the wires can go through here too. And I pictured the wiring of the building would just obviously be... where are my rounds? Just, you know, poles. Because I can get, I don't have them here, but I could get the T connector. I think it would be really cool to be able to, like, if the pole, like, so say, okay, yeah, so just a hypothetical. Like, so say I'm like, okay, say I'm down here and I'm like, oh, this is where the wiring is. So I want to line it up. So, like, boom, boom, and then, I don't know, whatever, I'll get, you know, like that. And then, oops. Okay, yeah, so then that's the wiring, and it pops through the floor like that, and then I get a T connector, right? So assumedly there's like a T coming out of here, or right there, and then from that T connector, I can then place horizontal poles, and I can actually have something wired, quote unquote, and by events, and I mean it would all just be relays or whatever. I can have the wiring pop into whatever device, you know, I need to have there. So that's what I'm saying about, like, how I want to do the events to be as, like, faithful to Icy's, like, original vision. And I think it would be neat to be able to have it be physically through bricks, or I mean, and then yeah, and then there's also because I'm gonna have to have it jump. So it's not going to be something I can legitimately just have it fire through relays, because if I did, basically if this just fired relays up, it would hit this brick, and then this whole brick will fire relays, and anything you build on it would fire a relay. And so it's like I would have to name this. This would have to be wire 1 or something. So I probably don't want to have too many wires, so I don't have to do so many, like, you know, wire jumps like that. And maybe I don't do that at all. You know what I mean? Maybe that's not the way I want to do it. Maybe I don't go that far with the simulation role play that Icy did. Maybe I do just have it be that there are outlets and they're all, like, you know, they're all together via eventing, and they're not literally digitally firing relays through the bricks or not. I don't know. You get my point, though. It gives me all sorts of opportunity. I'm going to get rid of these for now. But it gives me the opportunity to go as far as Icy did if I want to. And I'll leave those wires down there so I can remind myself. But anyway, so yeah, so that's like my center. So that'll be where I'll probably put the elevator banks, or maybe a stairwell. Maybe I'll pull that whole middle part out if I want it just to be stairs. I don't know. But anyway, so there we go. So now, Blockland redstones. Yeah, I mean, events basically are redstone when it comes down to it. You know, like, they're basically not exact, but it's close. You can do a lot with, so I do believe that there are, like, some event bricks that have been programmed that can do, like, rudimentary stuff like that. Like, so for example, so like I am, this is just something for me. I'm teaching myself, this is a really quick tangent. Teaching myself electronics, and I got this book, and it kind of goes over, like, you know, how logic gates work. I don't know if you can see it. Logic gates, and like how different, and it's a lot, and the funny thing is it's a lot like programming, which is obviously where we get programming from when it comes down to it, because it is all just ones and zeros. It's just the programming turns that logic into a language. But anyway, so I've been doing that to teach myself electronics, and while I was doing it, I was like, you know, this is really, like, no different. Like, a breadboard is really no different than an event, like, through a person, like a stud that shoots the right relays and blah, blah, blah. And I went to Conan, and I was like, is this possible? And Conan was like, since I'm in this view and I can actually pull up a private message and not show it to everybody, let me pull up Conan's messages, because where was it? I asked him, is it? I'm going to read it out, find it. Okay, yeah, I asked him, could one, in theory, use events to create a current in bricks that could simulate rudimentary circuitry? And he's like, that actually sounds similar to logic bricks, and they skipped the battery portion that I was talking about, but basically there are scripts attached to the bricks that do, like, those logic gate stuffs, like how real electronics work. So it would totally be possible to, like, essentially do what IcyGamma did and have it be actually represented essentially Blockland redstone, like you said. Like, that could be something that I potentially do if that's something where I want to do that. If I want to go that level of, like, you know, intensity of my I keep calling it a simulation, but you know what I mean, my recreation of how IcyGamma did it. Because again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, all of what I'm trying to say is that this is like, I think that we should have more of the role play. I think that there's nothing wrong with having a building that is actually something where somebody has to come in and if it's something breaks, it's like, hey, I need a guy who understands how the logic bricks work because the power couplings, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, it's just for fun. You know, I'm not saying you don't have to legitimately, you know, be a repairman or whatever, but, you know, it's like you can role play that if you want to. And that's, I want to give people the ability to role play more. I think that's what we're missing a little bit of, is that we need a little bit more role playing going on in this game. And that, you know, however, whatever that turns into is whatever that turns into. All right, I'm going to put those there for just now. I really wanted to be able to do this. Okay, so that's where I want the door to be. I might even go so far as to create custom doors, because I would really like to have a door that's like that actual big, like that actual size. So I might go as so far as to create, since I do still have the the OBJ to BLB converter and everything working, I might go so far, because that's all these are. You know, these are just special shapes you know, that have events attached to them that just do that. You know, like it's not. It just plays not an animation, just changes its rotation, I think. So I could even go so far as to create my own like special doors and everything, but wanted to do a Star Tours and Block Wars. It would remind me of wanting to do Blockland amusement parks, and the eventing would be important. You know, actually, that's a good point. I have never thought of the idea of doing a Blockland amusement park before. That is a completely new idea to me. I would never have thought of that. But that's an interesting idea. Like, because you know how like Tom the Geek used to do expos, like he would do Block Expo, whatever it was called. I don't remember what it was called. And like he had the whole expo floor, and I remember a couple of times I would get a booth, and I displayed Block Wars there a few times. I think I had an X-wing that I gave to him. Like I specifically was like, I want this X-wing model to be displayable, and so I gave him the add-on. It was installed. I think stuff like that is actually kind of cool. Like I think that being able to do that sort of stuff, I mean, hell, that's a server idea. Like a Blockland amusement park, like open up in the summer for like 2 weeks, and it's like, hey, come to Daphne's amusement park for like, 2 weeks, and it's like that's an event that people get to go to, and it might get a bunch of players involved. Like, I don't know, like I think those are really cool ideas. There's a lot that we can do. So I only got about 15 more minutes before I wanted to end the stream here. So I guess that's about the point I want to stop building right now. So, but I think I'm at a really good point. Let me save my bricks before I forget, and then like lose everything. Okay. Yeah, Blocklands World Fair, exactly. Like something like that. Like I don't know, but yeah. So now I've got this way bigger Isar tower. I don't even know. I want to include these because this is because without it, this is essentially just, it wouldn't be the Isar Tower without the glass. So, and you know what? Yeah, I think I am. The more I think about it, where is it? Is it still out here? Yeah, this guy. I don't think I want, I don't think I need it to be a custom shape like that. But a rocket rods, recreation. Yeah. Sorry, I can't read all of the chat. I think that says rods. Rocket rods. But yeah. Star Tours or whatever. Like an amusement park, like something. Or yeah, you know what? Honestly, what would be really cool, I'm surprised that we never did it, because I know we had like the train track mod or whatever, but like, has anyone made a legitimate, like a roller coaster? Because I'm thinking about how it might work. Because you could, in theory, you could create. So this would be a lot of like technical doing, but you could create an animated thing like how I did. So actually, yeah. So we can move into because we're almost at time here. But like how I made, like I was talking about with the pod racers, right? So going back to the pod racers. So the way these pod racers work is when the player clicks on, there's an event that's like on activate player mount or whatever, mount player 2 item. You can see it right there. That's what Conan helped me write to fit in that. So when the player do I still have them installed? I think I do. I saved all the bricks. Yeah, hold on. Let me save it again just to be safe. Let me see if they're just turned on. I don't think they're turned on. No, you know what? I think they're not turned on, but I don't think I have to restart completely. I think I can show you how this works, because I think I have them still in my add-ons folder. I just haven't turned them on in a while. Yep, Pod Racer. Perfect. Okay, cool. I can show you how this works. So basically, sorry. The whole thing being in one take. Amusement park related add-on, I think of it as a Ferris wheel. Yeah, the Ferris wheel, yeah. With the whole thing, yeah. So this is kind of to what you guys are saying. So this is what I'm thinking about if I were to do a roller coaster. This is how I think I would do it. Hopefully this loads. Basically, so you can get the player to mount to the empty that you include in your prop, right? So I'm thinking the way I would do a roller coaster is I would have the prop of the roller coaster, like the cart. I would have that be a something where and I'd have to ask Conan how this might be possible. Could I have multiple players mounted to different spots? Probably like how the vehicles work, where you can have multiple mount points. I'm assuming it's possible. But anyway, let me pull these up real quick. I'll show you how the pod racers work, because they're really, I mean, it's really simple. They're just animated items. But here we go. So here's Anakin's pod idled, right? So this is all I did, was I just wanted the pod to be able to float, because obviously I could have just made this a solid item. I could have had there be a brick, and I could have had the player sit, but I wanted it to float, and I needed the player to go up and down with it as it floated. So if I go into my events here, on activate player, mount, what is it called? Oh god, hold on, I just looked at it. Mount player to item. That should be in here, right? Is it not? How did we do it like this? Oh, okay, it's in self. All right. So on activate self mount player to item. So now when I do this, or not. Okay, hold on. I thought that was how, unless, oh wait, did I have it so that only film bots can do it? Hold on, I don't know. Let me see if that's what it is. No, alright, I don't know. I'll have to figure out why that's not working anyway. But my point being, so when you would do that, is that there's a mount point right here. Really irks me that it's not working. Hold on, let me see why it's not working. I'm probably just doing something wrong, because it's supposed to create that script for item pod accelerate. Maybe I don't have a mount point there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing something wrong. Oh, hang on. Maybe I have to do on player touch player mount. No, self mount. Player to item. I don't know. It's not working. Alright, well, of course, like any Blockland thing. But anyway, you can see these are animated items, right? So, what I'm trying to get at... I'm going to go back to the idle one. What I'm trying to get at is I could see the... Yeah, so, well, yeah, I mean, we maybe doing it as a vehicle somehow would be interesting. I don't know how that would work. But anyway, so the way that this is working, so you can see it's just two separate parts, right? You got the pod engines, and they're going up and down, and then you've got the pod itself, and it's going up and down on its own. And then from the right angle, because obviously I hit it, from the right angle, when you see the player, it looks like they're going up and down with that one, and this is, it looks like everything's idling on its own. I was able to get that, achieve that, like, animation. So... when you get in the pod, when it actually works, the player goes up and down. The player is actually mounted to the animation. So you saw how I had the pod that could like launch, and that's how I did everything in episode 1, right? So, I mean, I guess while we're here, I'll find it real quick. I think I can just do that. Yeah, here we go. Don't play the sound. I don't need it. Just want the pod race scene. Here we go. So there you go. See, you can see it. It's floating, right? And so the mount script, basically there. Yeah. So there. See how the player is going up and down with the pod, and then later on, when the when Anakin is like racing the pod. There you go. So there he goes. He's mounted. He's going up and down with the animation. Same thing with Sebulba here. He's also mounted to that pod. But whoop there. See how it launches up. I mean, you can't. It goes by really fast. You can't even see it. But he's in there, like I think, unless maybe I didn't actually put. Maybe I didn't even put a player in it. I might have been going so fast I didn't feel like I needed to. But my point being, let me find Anakin taking off. That will show what I want to show. Here we go. Boop. There. That's the same animation that is on Anakin Pod launch, right? Or not launch. Accelerate. So there. That's the animation, right? That's what it's playing. So that but then I mounted a player to it so that when it plays, he goes with it, right? So he completely like the player gets taken with it. So my thinking is to do a roller coaster would basically be the roller coaster carts would all be animated items like this. The track, I mean, it would be. That's what I mean. I don't know how exactly you'd have to do it, but if you could line up the animation to go along a track that you build in the game, the animation would essentially just be its own empty moving around blender. But if you could animate that track to go up and around and do all the loop-de-loops and everything, you could theoretically have a working functional roller coaster that moves smoothly, that the player can actually be in first person and third person. And you could even set it up so that it's evented so that the player can't get out of the cart on their own, right? Because it wouldn't even be like a vehicle. You can't even right click and jet out of it. It is like you are mounted to it until you get back in, and then maybe the person controlling the roller coaster could unmount you and let you off of the ride, so to speak, and teleport you to a different place. So I'm thinking though, yeah, so if I'm wrong, if you can't have the carts, you know, if the cart thing if they all have to be separate, you could theoretically have them all play their own animation just at a different, at a different like, what am I trying to say? Whatever the word is, at a different interval, so that they all go together as a train, but each of them hit the ramp at the time that they need to, and then do like the loop at the time they need, and all that. So you could theoretically, you could make the track a model, part of the model. You actually could go so far as to just model the track and have the roller coaster just be that one item, and then have the track, have the thing follow that. Actually, that might even be a better idea, is to have it be, I'll ask Conan about it later, because again, he's the guy who knows all this fucking shit. But I'll ask him later if it's possible to do what I'm thinking of doing. But like, that would be really cool too, to have a roller coaster that could literally like go on the track and follow it, and like that would be, and then the Ferris wheel and like all of that stuff. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ideas that we could do. I would love to do a little tracky track thing that it's like one of those little like the horror scary rides, like you get on it and you go through, and like we could have like little things pop out, like all the animations could be timed to go as the player goes. Like there's so much that could be done inside the game. And imagine having a like an actual amusement park in Blockland, an amusement park server. That would be a cool thing to do over the summer. That could be something that we do, you know, like I don't know, there's all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so that's how. So there's a little also behind the scenes of how the pod racers work. They're just items, and you can see too the way that they work is it loops back, it pulls it, and it doesn't just immediately repeat. It actually pulls the item back each time. Someone else made a section waterfall as a static shape, but gapped in segments, and it should still work even as an item though. Yeah. And you could have the film play. You could sync events and animations. You could have everything synced to it. I mean, that's what I mean. It would take a lot of like that technical doing, but you could do it. And I think that's one way that I would think of how it might be done. But anyway, all right. So we're at like 7:56. So that gives us at about where the ending of my stream is. That's about the 4-hour mark because I started at 4. So I'm gonna go back to just this one. So yeah, but thank you everybody who came today, and I appreciate the conversations we had. I appreciate all the insights and ideas. Thank you for giving me support while I built the Isar tower and all of that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go the last 3 minutes here, and I don't even know if I'm gonna go the last 3 minutes. Is there any point to going the last 3 minutes? I don't know. I think I've said all I needed to say. But yeah, it was fun. That was exactly what I expected it to be. I kind of just wanted it to be like it's just a hangout. Eventually, like when I do these more often, I would like, obviously, if you'd like to voice chat, let me know. And I'll pull up I'm thinking of probably doing it in the BLC server since I have that going. And we'll probably just voice chat there. But yeah, and then you'll be on the stream, and that way I don't have to be the one talking, because my throat is starting, like after 4 hours of just straight talking, my throat is starting to get a little sore. But yeah, that was fun, and I like I said, I don't really stream a lot, so this has been, I'm gonna try to do it more often. Like I said, I want to try to do these weekly. If I can't, I'll let you know. But otherwise, this is episode 0, but I wanted to see if I could do it and how it would work. I'll probably do more to the stream setup. Like, I don't hate the chat the way it looks, but it's also like, I don't know, it could be better. There's a lot more of elements. And I mean, honestly, if I had more time before I set up the stream, I've been working all morning of trying to get all the elements to work, like getting the chat to work, getting all that to work. And I ran into some snags with how, I ran into OBS problem, and it was something where I thought I had to update my video drivers, which I did, my graphic cards drivers, which I did do, and then that didn't fix the problem, and it turned out that all it was is I needed to create a new scene profile in OBS or whatever. It was kind of frustrating because I basically lost 2 hours of like doing stuff. I'm glad I updated my drivers, granted. I haven't updated my drivers in a while, so that needed to be done. But it's like, that wasn't the fix to the problem, and so it was like, I felt stupid. But anyway, so yeah, I actually did talk myself into the 8 o'clock mark. So yeah, so next Sunday, it's probably same time, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock seems about a good time, Eastern Standard Time. If you think I should do it earlier or later, let me know, because then that way I can, make changes to the schedule. But you know what? You're right. I should make it look like a chat log. I should make all the names yellow and all the text white. That would be funny. That's a good idea. You know what? Next time that's what it'll look like. But anyway, so all right, it hits us at the 8 o'clock mark. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna do these again. Like I said, every Sunday. Try to do it around 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, maybe 3 to 7, maybe 5 to 9. Depends on where everybody's schedules work out, where I can get the most people to show up. The idea is that it's basically just going to be a hangout chat. This is like, as Twitch calls it, just chatting. But I'll have Blockland open, or I'll have Blender open or something, and I will show you some kind of literally behind the bricks, because that is what I wanted the name of the show to be. It's just that now I'm going to do it in a way less formal way. Because honestly, even making the behind the bricks videos that I did make, that was a lot of work, where it's like I could have just done this, I guess, where I just opened up a stream and I go, hey, if you want to know how to do, this particular machinima thing, this is how I do it, and here it is. And then I could explain it in real time. And it's not necessarily a tutorial, but it is something, whatever. But okay, so we've hit the 8 o'clock mark. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate all of you who were here. I appreciate everybody who had something to say. And like I said, we'll do it again next Sunday. Peace be with you and force be with you. I don't have a sign out yet. I don't care. Keep playing Blockland. Let's keep making Blockland stuff. It's been fun. I'll see you later.